And a very pleasant good evening, everyone, and welcome to another week of Cassville High School football here on the Talent Sports Network. And what a beautiful night it is. Week number 5, the high school football season has arrived. We have made it to the midway point of the regular season, and we're looking forward to tonight's matchup here on KQMO 97.7 FM, also on Cassville Web TV and YouTube, and live free streaming audio at radiotalent.com. Don't forget, you can download our free app as well if you're an Apple or Android user. Just go to your app store and type in KQMO, and you can get the game anywhere on your mobile device if you're out traveling, and you can keep up with the broadcast as well. Sammy Clapper along with Jeremy Marple, and we've got Todd Speakman running the camera for us again this week on Cassville Web TV. And the Wildcats are here at Wildcat Stadium, a home game for Cassville after back-to-back weeks on the road, and they're in Big 8 West play, and the Lamar Tigers are coming to town. Cassville with back-to-back road wins the previous 2 weeks, and they have run off 3 consecutive victories now after dropping that season opener at Mount Vernon. The Wildcats with 3 of their first 4 on the road. Their only home game was in week 2 when they won over Marshfield, and now they're in Big 8 West play hosting Lamar here this evening, and we're looking forward to the matchup. Jeremy, another great night for high school football. We had a little rain 2 weeks ago up at Nevada that they had to deal with, but for the most part, every week so far, every Friday night, we've had some really nice weather. It's warmed back up a little bit today. Temperatures got up into the 80s, but once that sun sets, it's supposed to cool off nicely. Maybe a little warmer than the players would like, but it makes great weather for spectating high school football.
Oh, it's perfect right now, Sammy, and it's only going to get better. Just a little bit of a breeze coming across the field here as we look at the American flag there in the north end. But you look at this Wildcat football team, and winners of 3 in a row, and last week at Logan Rogersville, the most impressive of those 3 wins. The Wildcats played exceptionally well, especially on the defensive side of the football.
Got some injured players back last week, and it showed on the defensive side, as you said. The offense was clicking. They put up 30 points in the first half and went on to the big win over Logan Rogersville, and now they come back into Big 8 West play. They've only played one Big 8 West opponent. That was Nevada, and they defeated them. And Lamar Tigers are the opponents here tonight. Both teams 3-1 overall. Cassville 1-0 in the West. Lamar is 1-1 as they lost in week 3 at McDonald County as the Mustangs came up with 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter and stunned the Tigers 42-41, but that's the only blemish on Lamar's record.
Well, and that's what you see in the previous 4 games of the Lamar Tigers is the offensively they're still putting up points, but what is a little uncharacteristic of them is the points they've allowed. So under new head coach, Coach Beshore over there, kind of a new regime, they're going to do, you and I talked about it a little bit, they're going to be very similar to what they've done in the past. However, Coach Beshore has brought a few different elements into this offense. They will occasionally try to spread the field a little bit, but it's going to be exciting to see tonight. And with this weather and both of these good football teams, ought to be a good game.
We'll get things started tonight with the field condition report. Natural grass here at Cassville, and the field condition report is brought to you by Security Insurance Agency in Cassville. Are you covered for the hazards of weather? Are you covered for losses that may be unexpected? Call Security Insurance in Cassville, 847-8384. That's 847-8384. Been very dry the last 2 weeks since Cassville's been on the road. We haven't got much of any rain at all, and they've been having to put a lot of water on this field. But with the junior high and JV games that have played here at Cassville, you can already see the grass starting to get a little brown in a couple of spots, but it's not gone by any means. And after 2 weeks on the road, this field looks really good, I know, to the Wildcats to be back playing on it here tonight.
Well, it's kind of night and day compared to the grass field the Wildcats played on last week.
Yes.
This one is mowed very short. We'll play faster and should be zero. I don't anticipate any type of footing issues out here on this turf tonight.
Again, tonight's field condition report brought to you by Security Insurance in Cassville. What condition is your insurance in? Give them a call, 847-8384. Security Insurance, part of Security Bank of Southwest Missouri and Security Insurance located here in Cassville. Tonight's game is not only a competitive contest between these 2 schools, it's also an educational experience for the students involved because high school activities are about learning life's values. We remind everyone to do their part in keeping our hometown sports a positive experience. When you attend your next game, do your part to help rekindle the spirit of citizenship, and show good sportsmanship. You'll be teaching a positive lesson. You'll be preserving a proud tradition in the state of Missouri. Tonight's sportsmanship reminder brought to you by Access Family Care. They have offices in Cassville, Neosho, Aurora, Mount Vernon, and Joplin. Tonight's broadcast also brought to you in part by Tomlin's Jewelry and Gifts. They're on the square in Cassville. You can get your art carved or gold lance class rings at affordable prices. Order them today On the northeast corner of the square, Tomlin's Jewelry and Gifts. Also on the square in Cassville, Sports World, sponsoring in part Cassville High School football. If you're looking for school athletic clothing, Letterman's jackets, trophies, Sports World has it all. Call 847-5366. Cassville hosting Lamar here tonight. Should be a great one between two Big 8 West rivals. Got a pretty good contingent of Lamar fans making their way down from Barton County, and a great group of fans here tonight for Cassville, and they were honoring some of the Mighty Mite program here in pregame festivities. We're going to go ahead and take a quick little break here. They're doing the national anthem and also the invocation. Tonight's national anthem brought to you by Berry County Ready Mix. For all of your stone or aggregate needs, stop by Berry County Ready Mix at any of their convenient locations in Shell Knob, Cassville, or Eagle Rock. You can call their Cassville office at 847-3200 for a free estimate today. Back with more right after this. You're listening to Big 8 Football here on the Talon Network. Our Tigers here this evening in Big 8 Conference football. Looking at the rest of the Big 8, it will be East Newton at Marshfield. Monette is at Nevada. Rogersville travels to Mount Vernon. Buffalo is at Aurora. The Hound Dogs were supposed to play at Springfield Catholic, but the Irish, after having COVID-19 troubles last week and having their game against Reed Spring canceled. They also have their game this week against Aurora canceled, but Aurora was able to find Buffalo, who had a team that pulled out on them. So the number 9 team in Class 3, Buffalo, will be at Aurora tonight taking on the Hound Dogs. And another matchup that got disrupted, Seneca at McDonald County. The Indians were unable to play due to some positive COVID-19 tests. McDonald County did find an opponent to play tonight. They will be playing Frontenac, Kansas, who was supposed to play Iola, but Iola got kids quarantined. So schools are having fun right now trying to find other schools that may have opponents that had to pull out because of positive tests. But so far, the majority of the schools that have had their opponent drop on them, they've been able to pick somebody else up. I've only known a couple of schools so far that actually were left with a hole in their schedule. So it has been fortunate in that area that schools have not had to just have off weeks. But each week we get deeper into the season, you're seeing more and more teams affected by this, and hopefully we can make it all the way through to the end of the regular season.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and it's the time we're living in right now. But knock on wood, the Wildcats are able to keep on trucking, and who knows? And it's nobody's fault. These kids that it's not a crime to get sick. It's an unfortunate situation, and people are just trying to do the best they can to keep everyone as healthy as possible.
Another Big 8 game tonight, Reed Spring at Hollister in that little neighborhood battle down there in Taney County. Well, the classification and district assignments came out earlier this week by the Missouri State High School Activities Association, and the Big 8 has had some teams get moved around. Class 3, District 6 will still be Aurora, Cassville, Hollister, Mount Vernon, Reed Spring, and Seneca, but it will be a 6-team district this year because Monette, we're pretty sure they were going to go back to Class 4. They were only 2 or 3 kids into Class 3 last year. But Nevada, it's been a while since they've been in Class 4. They've been in Class 3 for a while. They get bumped back up to Class 4 this year as well. So the Class 3 district, Aurora, Cassville, Hollister, Mount Vernon, Reed Spring, and Seneca will only be a 6-team district.
Well, it's it's interesting to see these teams bounce around and which direction they're going to go. And Cassville is, I'd say, they're comfortably in Class 3 for a period of time. And when you move up, it's your district's growing, and that's nice to see as well. But sometimes when you move up, boy, things get a little more difficult, and you're seeing some teams that have moved up are going to be playing some tough teams.
Of course, Rogersville, Marshfield, McDonald County were already in Class 4, and they've been that way for a while. But Monette goes back to Class 4, Nevada moving up to Class 4 as well. And East Newton stays in Class 2 this year, so no changes there for the Patriots. One change, though, in Class 4 and 5, and just like many years ago when everybody was wondering when Harrisonville was going to go from 3 to 4, a lot of people have been wondering when Webb City was going to go from 4 to 5. Well, it finally happened. The Cardinals got moved up to Class 5. Carthage fans who didn't get to play Webb City because of COVID-19 last week may get the Cardinals again, but it'll be a district game.
Right. All games are important, but boy, they really get important once you start looking at district play.
You've got other schools in the area that pretty much stayed status quo. One school that did get moved up, Nixa, and Ozark had went up to Class 6 last year. They were just like 3 or 4 kids into Class 6. Well, they have come back to Class 5, but Nixa, who was just 2 kids out of being Class 6 a year ago, they have grown, and now they're in Class 6, along with Springfield, Kickapoo, and Joplin, and then a bunch of Kansas City and St. Louis schools.
Yeah, and it's hard to believe that they're both not sitting up there in Class 6, but it is what it is. And you know what? It's just one of those things. You're going to play who they put in front of you, and to these kids on the field, it really doesn't matter. I mean, they're going to play football, and you can only have 11 on the field at once.
That's exactly right. The Missouri high school football rankings came out this week as well. They had been delayed because of everyone not sure how things would go through the first 2 or 3 weeks of the regular season. And, of course, these are based a lot on what happened last year, and then things progress as you go through the season. But it gives folks like us a little something to talk about in pre-games, and it gives fans something to talk about and kind of have bragging rights over other schools. Class 3, Blair Oaks, Cassville very familiar with them. They defeated them last year in the playoffs. Odessa, the defending state champs, they're at 1 and 2. Mount Vernon is at 3. They're still unbeaten at 4 and 0. Cassville's tied for 6 with Centralia, and Buffalo, the team that Aurora's playing tonight, is number 9 in Class 3.
Yeah, and that's probably fair the way the season's gone right now. I'm interested to see how the score shakes out with Buffalo coming down to Aurora tonight. I know Buffalo's got some pretty talented players coming that are back this year, all state caliber players, and I'll be interested to see how the Hound Dogs deal with that tonight.
Well, it's time for tonight's Cassville Wildcat Keys to Victory. It's brought to you by Mark and the gang at Wesco Home Furnishings. They invite you to stop by and view their wide selection of furniture, mattresses, and appliances at 109 West State Street in Cassville. Find them online at wescohome.com. Well, Lamar's got a new head coach. We already talked about he may throw a new little wrinkle into the offensive scheme for the Tigers, but still they're Lamar. They love to run the football. They've got a lot of talented running backs. They also have an experienced quarterback. I think right off the top, a key to a win is going to be to limit their big plays, because we've seen that in the past. Cassville's been able to hem them in, and then they bust one. You're going to have to limit those big play opportunities for the Tigers tonight.
Big plays are killers. You know, Cassville's going to have to try to do a good job of keeping the Tigers behind the chains a little bit, and not let them convert third and longs. You know, don't let them have a lot of success on first down. Make play calling a little bit difficult for them. They're going to be big up front. I don't know that they're as big as they have been in the past. Maybe with the reduction in size, maybe they're a little more athletic. I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, you got to limit that big play if you want to have a chance to win.
And a defensive effort like they put forth last week against Rogersville, limiting the Wildcats from Rogersville to what they could do. And we knew they had a lot of athletes and talented play as well. Maybe not replicate it 100%, but another defensive effort like that this tonight against this team would be a long stretch to help key to a win as well.
Well, no question. And Cassville's defense should have a lot of confidence after the game last week. They looked best game that they've played this year on the defensive side of the football, and that confidence should carry over this week. They know Lamar, a lot of history between Cassville and Lamar, so they know they need to bring that A game, and I look for the Wildcat defense to play well tonight.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about some of that history here after the break, but again, tonight's Wildcat Keys to Victory brought to you by Mark Whittemire and the crew at Wesco Home Furnishings in Cassville. They're looking forward to a great season of Wildcat football, and just like the quality portrayed by each player on the field, Wesco offers that same quality merchandise and customer service. We're going to take a quick break. Be back to take a look at the two teams playing here tonight, Lamar and Cassville. You're listening to Big 8 Football here on the Talon Network. Wildcat Stadium. Cassville hosting Lamar tonight. Big 8 West football here on the Talent Sports Network, and glad to have you along, whether on the radio, online, with the streaming audio, or on web TV. We've got you covered at all the angles. Taking a look at the visitors tonight from Lamar. Of course, a new head coach. We've talked about that. Jared Beshore, a Lamar alum, has taken over the reins of the Lamar football program after a very successful and pretty lengthy tenure by Scott Bailey. Of course, he got things started back in the late 2000s. That continued, and they really got things rolling in 2010. Jared Beshore was a freshman on that 2010 team. They finished 10-4, went to the semifinals. 3 of their 4 losses was to Cassville, Seneca, and Aurora. And then things got rolling in 2011, and that began the 7 consecutive state championships, and Jared Beshore was a part of 3 of those. They went 14-1, 14-2, 14-1 during those 3 years. But 2 of those 3 years, they had regular season losses to Cassville. That was the blemish on their record, was Cassville. In 2014 and 2013, the blemish was those crazy Carl Junction games with the hook and the ladders and in the closing seconds, and everyone probably still remembers that, the way that happened. But then in 2015, 15-0, of course, Beshore had already graduated and went on to Missouri State, where he played football for the Bears. They went 14-0 in 2016, 14-0 again in 2017. They finally had their winning streak, nation's longest at the time, snapped by Cassville in 2018 on that last-second field goal by Drake Reese. They still made it to the semifinals that year, but got upended by Lathrop. And then last year, Lamar was 10-3, and they got beat in the quarterfinals by a very good Ava team. Their regular season losses came to Seneca and Monette. But Jared Beshore guiding the Tigers now. He's only 24 years old. He was an assistant last year at Branson. This is his first head coaching duties. And again, he played for Lamar 2010 to 2013 and was a part of 3 of those state championships. And he was kind of one of those players that kind of was at the beginning and kind of set their tradition of what they're enjoying nowadays.
Well, and he knows what it took to get Lamar to that level, and he's going to bring that passion fire to this Lamar football team once again. It's kind of, they up there, they call it a brotherhood, and just bringing in another member of the family to lead the show, and he's going to, try to step in. Oh, I tell you what, Coach Bailey has some big shoes to fill right there, but Coach Beshore is going to come in, and he's going to be successful up there at Lamar.
Of course, Coach Bailey has moved on to Jeff City, and of course they were a storied program in the late 80s and early 90s where they won all those state championships. They're kind of in a rebuilding mode up there at Jeff City. The Jays are off to a 1-3 start with Coach Bailey up there. But Lamar comes in 3-1, and again 1-1 in the Big 8 West. Cassville is also 3-1, and they're 1-0 in the conference, and they have a veteran coach guiding them, Coach Lance Parnell. He has long been a part of the Cassville football program, first as a defensive coordinator and now in more recent years as the head coach. And the Wildcats, after that little blemish in week number 1, have really got things turned around. They're starting to get kids healthy, and they hope that good luck continues here in the middle part of the season.
Yeah, certainly. Coach Parnell's been around 25 or 26 years. He's seen it all, or as much as you probably can at this point. But the games aren't too big for him and his staff, who's been together quite a bit with his offense coordinators. And he's got a good group this year, good group of seniors, talented kids. And it appears, looking at last Friday night, that things are starting to come together, starting to click. And we see it a lot, most years with Cassville early in the season. Yeah, they're winning games, but it's really not a cohesive unit until later in that season. They're mixing and matching, guys on the offensive line, and they're just getting a feel for game nights. Who's going to be in each position? Who fits best where? And I'll tell you what, last Friday night, if that's any indication, they're starting to get it figured out pretty quick.
Of course, Cassville, a lot of success in their tenure. Coach Parnell was the defensive coordinator on the state championship teams in 08 and 09. They went to the semifinals in 2010 and then back to the state championship game last year. They're the runner-up a year ago as they lost in the title game to Odessa, and they've got a lot of kids back from last year's team representing this year's Wildcats. It's time for the coin toss, and tonight's coin toss is brought to you by the Clark Center. They have offices in Berry, Lawrence, and Dade counties. You can go online to clarkmentalhealth.com to find the phone number for services in your area. Clark Community Mental Health Center, moving forward, improving lives and communities through compassion and care. Again, the coin toss brought to you by the Clark Center. Find them online, clarkmentalhealth.com. Jaden Rybert, team captain, along with Drake Reese, Jericho Ferris, and Zach Kanan. Of course, with the new rules and guidelines put into place, only the official and umpire, or referee and umpire, and 2 captains will meet at midfield. The coaches will have to stay back at the hashes along with the remaining team captains as everyone practicing their health guidelines and protocols, and the officials going over with the preliminaries, and we'll have the coin toss here momentarily. Cassville in their home black jerseys with gold pants, the black stripe down the side, black helmets with the Wildcat on the helmet. And Lamar in the road white uniforms with black numbers. They've got the black pants and black helmets with the tiger on the side. Lamar won the toss, and they will be determining what they want to do. And it looks like the Tigers want the football, as team captain Ben Wilhelm, senior offensive lineman, says Lamar will take it to start the game, and they will be coming out of the north end zone here at Cassville. Tonight's Wildcat starting lineup brought to you by Fast Trip, locally owned by Mike and Anita Carr. They're at 104 South Main in Cassville. Quarterback Hayden Sink, 6'4", 230 senior. He'll be joined in the backfield by Zach Kanan, 6'1", 215 senior, and Jericho Ferris, 5'10", 185 senior. Receivers Drake Reese, 6'3", 190 senior, and Brett Cooper, 5'9", 165 senior. Tight end Killian Barbie, 6'2", 205 senior. Center is Zach Carney, is back from injury, 6'1", 240 senior. Right guard Jaden Rybert, 6'4", 290 senior. Wesley Stockton is the right tackle, 6', 280 senior. Left guard Brady Schweer, 5'11", 245 senior. And left tackle Hunter Chastain, 6'1", 225 senior. We will set the Cassville defense as we get underway here in the first quarter. Drake Reese will be kicking the ball off for Cassville. Tonight's first quarter is brought to you by Michael's Hardware at 186 Sale Barn Road in Cassville. For your project questions, call Michael's. Friendly folks, serious hardware. And the Wildcat Kickoff is brought to you, as always, by Baywash Car Wash. A clean car is a happy car, and that makes you feel good. Baywash Car Wash in Cassville. Try out the all-new IQ Soft Cloth Automatic. It features custom wash technology, giving you the perfect wash every time. We had a little bit of a breeze when the sun was still up, but as the sun is set, the breeze is starting to lay down just a little bit. But what wind is still happening is coming out of the south, which will be at the back of Drake Reese as he sets to kick to start tonight's football game.
Well, we were watching Reese kick in pregame tonight, and I tell you what, he must have been feeling pretty good because he was absolutely crushing footballs. We watched him field goal good from 50 and probably had another 10 yards on it at least, and he really showing a strong leg in pregame.
Ian Nagui back to return the kick, a sophomore, talking with the Lamar radio guys. He's got a lot of speed, and he may be the quarterback next year if he continues to progress, but instead it's Terrell Davis who brings it right up the right hash, had a couple of blockers in front as he stepped in front of Nagui, and Davis returns it all the way out to the Lamar 48-yard line in good starting field position for the Tigers.
Well, I don't know if you noticed, Sammy, but as Reese was approaching the football, it was actually falling on the tee. He kicked that football probably in the nose as it fell into his foot. And that's why that was the result we get out of that kick. It was falling towards him on the tee.
Case Tucker, 6 foot, 200-pound senior, is the quarterback, and he is a veteran returner for the Lamar Tigers. They line up on first down with twin receivers to the right, a lone receiver to the left. Tucker all alone in the backfield. They got a couple of players in the slot, so they go with the 5-man front across the offensive line. They've got several receivers and wingbacks. Not the old twin quarterback setup that we are used to seeing from Lamar. Man comes in motion, and they give the inside handoff. The ball goes to Cade Griffith. He goes around the left end. He's got the first down and more, but a penalty flag is thrown back at the line of scrimmage, and this nice run by Griffith may be coming back. It is a holding call against the Tigers.
Yeah, Griffith in motion from right to left, took the handoff at full speed. It looked like the defensive end of the Wildcats, Justin Miller, was held, ended up on the ground, and official right there on top of it. That one's going to come back. There's a break for the Cats.
So they'll move it back to the 37-yard line after the 10-yard penalty. The flag thrown about a half a yard into the Lamar backfield. So Lamar picking up good yardage on first down, but it's all for naught as the penalty takes it away. Tigers this time come with a new look. They send twins to the left, the short side of the field, and they go unbalanced that direction. Tucker again from the shotgun. He steps up, now pitches it back to Wilkerson. Here comes Wilkerson around the right end. He's across the 45, across the 50, into Cassville territory, down the sidelines, and it looks like he has enough yardage for the first down. They say he went out of bounds at about the Cassville 37 or 38.
Yeah, a lot of misdirection going on, and that's not something we're used to seeing with this Lamar Tiger football team. And as Wilkerson came back against the grain, Wildcat defense a little aggressive there, a little over pursued, didn't contain on the backside in a big game there for the Tigers.
Yeah, they have always, with that spinner offense, used misdirection and motion to kind of confuse defenses. They've got some different looking setups and formations, but it's still a lot of the same misdirection and motion. And now Cassville does not fall for it this time, as Zach Kane, in the middle linebacker, comes flying through the middle and tackles Wilhite for a loss back at the 40-yard line.
Once again, motion. This time Wilhite right to left. Took the handoff at full speed. Kane sniffing that out. Great play. Nice read. Was able to fly across that line of scrimmage, make a play in the backfield.
So after a gain of 26, it's a loss of 3, and it's second down and 13 at the Cassville 40. Just underway, a minute gone here in the opening quarter. Again, tonight's first quarter brought to you by Michael's Hardware. Let them quarterback your project with the right tools and supplies for the job. Michael's Hardware, friendly folks, serious hardware. Tucker now is joined in the backfield by another B-Shore, and that is Joel B-Shore, and that is the younger brother of head coach Jared B-Shore. He's a sophomore. I wonder, that's kind of got to be a little bit interesting, coaching your little brother on the football program.
Yeah, I wonder if the parents ever have to get involved in any type of disputes. I don't know. The head coach has that whistle and the ability to send somebody on some sprint work, so the parents may not get involved in that one bit.
That might be. We've got a timeout on the field. The clock stopped with 10:41 left to go here in the opening quarter. Still no score. The timeout brought to you by Security Bank of Southwest Missouri. Everyone has debit cards and ATMs, mobile banking as well. But Security Bank of Exeter, Wheaton, and Cassville, you sit across a neighbor and a decision maker. Security Bank, member FDIC. Second down and long facing the Tigers here. After a long run by Wilkerson. The ball at the Cassville 40-yard line, and we'll see what the Tigers want to do here. Coach Parnell sending his defensive unit back out on the field. Chess match has started early here between these two Big 8 rivals. Two teams up at the top of the Big 8 West here in week number 5. Cassville back with the 4-man front. Lamar goes unbalanced left, but they bring a man in motion around to the right, and that is B-Shore. B-Shore makes a cutback, turns it upfield at the hash, and runs into a wall of black jerseys. He's able to get back close to the original line of scrimmage, but it's going to be a short gain. It's going to bring up third and nearly 10, maybe 11 to go.
Well, nice job. Looked like Chastain and Rybert were able to bring B-Shore down, but it was Kane, the middle linebacker, was able to get out in front of that play and force B-Shore back to the defense. Really nice job there.
They do spot him down back at the Cassville 37, so it'll be third down and 10 Tigers. First third down conversion attempt for Lamar here tonight. We're 2 minutes into the opening quarter.
These third and longs, we talked about this in the pregame. The Wildcats have to get the Tigers off the field in third and long situations.
Tucker looking to throw. He's got one-on-one coverage down the opposite sideline, and the pass is caught way over on the Lamar sideline by Mason Gastel, and it looks like he was able to keep his feet in bounds. A well-thrown ball by Tucker, and Gastel, tight-roping the sidelines, is able to pick up a big first down, and it'll be first and goal Lamar.
They had more sideline to work with over there than the Wildcat defensive back realized, as Tucker threw the ball down the sideline. The receiver drifted back to catch it, and initially Wildcat defensive back had pretty good position, but didn't realize that they were that far away from the sideline.
It's a gain of nearly 30 yards, first and goal from just outside the Cassville 7. Here comes a man in motion. Tucker's going to keep it himself, tries to sneak his way up the middle. He pushes ahead down to about the 5-yard line for a 2-yard gain, and it'll bring up second and goal from there.
Yeah, those third and longs, I tell you what, you can't give up those big plays like that, and you got to know where you are on the field as a defensive player, Sammy.
And that's one thing about Case Tucker. He's always been known as a runner, but he can throw the ball very well.
Well, we watched him in warm-up, and he threw the ball well. I wouldn't say the last pass was the best ball we've seen him throw. Hung up there a little bit, but it sure worked out for him.
They put B-Shore in the backfield with Tucker on second and goal from the 5, and a long delayed play there. Looked like Tucker wanted to give the ball to B-Shore a little quicker than B-Shore wanted to go get it. I'm not sure, a little confusion there, but B-Shore does carry the ball down to about the 3, and it'll bring up third and goal from there.
Third and goal, big play here. You look at this Tiger offense, and you're probably thinking that when they get down here, they're in 4-down territory, and we'll see what happens here. Big 3rd down.
They converted on their first 3rd down attempt of the night, and now 3rd and goal from the 3-yard line. They got receivers right and left. They go unbalanced right. Tucker this time all alone in the backfield, gives on the end around. He hands it to Wilhite. Wilhite trying to get to the pylon, and he dives for the end zone, and it does not look like he was able to get in. And now they signal touchdown. After a long look at it, the side judge does come out. I think he had to kind of scramble to get out of the way because there was a bunch of players coming right at his knees, but he steps up to the pylon and signals touchdown Lamar.
Once again, misdirection in the backfield. Wilhite comes out with it, races all the way over to the pylon on the Lamar sideline, just able to get in there.
So in this battle of 3-1 teams, Lamar gets on the board first. Now the extra point try, and the kick is up by Wilkerson, and it is good. And that is Austin Wilkerson, a sophomore. And yes, they have another Wilkerson as well, just like they have another Beshore. And with 8:34 left to go in the first quarter, Lamar gets on top, 7-0 over Cassville. After a nice 8-play drive, took 52 yards of field to get it done, and 3.5 minutes off the clock.
The Wildcats had them where they wanted them in this drive, 3rd and long, and the Tigers convert with a long pass play. And that's something that this Wildcat coaching staff is going to discuss. Hey, we get them behind the chains, get them in 3rd and long situations. Got to get them off the field.
Again, tonight's first quarter brought to you by Michael's Hardware. Let Michael's give your to-do list a game plan that's sure to be a winner. Michael's Hardware, friendly folks, serious hardware, located at 186 Sale Barn Road in Cassville. Wilkerson will also do the kicking duties for the Tigers. And it's Jericho Ferris, Brett Cooper, and Drake Reese back around their own 15-yard line awaiting the kick of Austin Wilkerson. He approaches and boots it away, angles it towards the left sideline, bounces at the 21, gets by Cooper. He retreats back to the 10, loses the football, and then has to reach out and gather it in as his feet slipped out from underneath him. And Cassville's going to start inside their own 15 at about the 11.
Yeah, they dodged a bullet right there. Cooper trying to make a play, just lost his footing down there as he raced back to the football that got by him. And this Wildcat offense going to get to work here tonight.
Cassville touching the ball the first time offensively here this evening. They trail 7-0. Hayden Sink, the quarterback. Sink coming back after missing 2 weeks with injury. Got injured in the 3rd quarter of the Mount Vernon game. He's going to run on first down, makes a cutback inside the left or the right tackle, and then has his feet taken out from underneath him. He falls forward out to about the 14-yard line for a pickup of 3, and it'll bring up 2nd down.
A little option game that time. Pulled it out of the fullback's belly and right around behind that tight end. Sink went.
Overall, in a game and about almost 3/4, Sink has racked up 162 rushing yards and a touchdown. That touchdown coming last week against Rogersville. Ferris, the leading ball carrier for Cassville, over 700 yards and 10 touchdowns through the first 4 weeks. And Kanan going to get the call on 2nd down. He ran for 80 yards and a touchdown last week in his first game of the season, and he barrels his way out to the 19-yard line, and it'll bring up 3rd down and about 1.5 yards.
Now Kanan made a nice cut right at the line of scrimmage to avoid a tackler before he was brought down around the linebacking core. Pretty good tackle there as the Tiger linebacker was able to get down underneath Kanan and get into his legs to bring him down.
So Cassville now faced with a big 3rd down here. 3rd down and less than 2 from inside their own 20. Sink up under center. He's going to run around behind Kanan and Ferris trying to fight for the first down, and it looks like he's got enough yardage to have it. Second effort after he was hit about the 21. He leans out to the 23 and picks up the Wildcat first down. The Wildcat first down brought to you by Superior Metal. They're first in metal roofing. You can look them up on Facebook or YouTube and request a free quote.
Design quarterback keeper. We see the Wildcats run that play. 2 running backs out ahead, and Sink's so big back there, 240 pounds. He took a couple of shots, bounced off, and was able to pick up that first down yardage.
Twin receivers to the right side, and Sink looked like maybe he wanted to pass, but the whistle sounds. And we've got a flag over on the far side. It's going to be offsides against Cassville. Little false start there, movement against the Wildcats, and that'll move it back to the 18. So both teams have drawn a flag on their first possession of the night. 7 minutes left to go here in quarter number one. Cassville trailing 7-0. Drake Reese bringing the play in from the sideline. 1st and 15 now facing Cassville. They send twin receivers, Cooper and Reese, out to the short side, which is the left side of the Cassville offense. Sink going to run the option the other direction. Gets hit coming down the line of scrimmage. The ball comes loose. Lamar says they have it, but was Sink down. We've still got no signal. Now we do. The officiating crew steps in, and they say the Tigers have recovered.
Yeah, hard to see what happened right there. Sink, they're trying to run the option game around the right side, and Sink got hit and wrapped up pretty early. I don't know if he actually tried to reach out and make the handoff, and the ball was knocked down. But nonetheless, the Tigers have taken over in great field position, and the Wildcats having a tough time getting going tonight.
So it'll be Tiger football, 1st and 10 at the Cassville 17-yard line. Lamar already leading 7-0. That's one thing we didn't talk about in the pregame was limiting turnovers. We were talking about limiting big plays of the Tigers. Well, you can't give them ball in short field position either. Case Tucker going to run it himself after he fakes the handoff. Big hole around the left end, sidesteps a man at the 10, and dances his way down to around the 5 or 6 yard line.
Yeah, there's that running ability we see out of Tucker, and around the left edge he goes. It's just a nice little wiggle there. Was able to shake out of a tackle and get down, pick up that first down, 1st and goal here.
It's a gain of 11. Tucker now with 13 yards on his first 2 carries of the night. The ball at the Cassville 6, 1st and goal Tigers. They already lead at 7-0, looking to add to that lead only halfway through the first quarter. Cassville turnover has given the Tigers short field, and they're trying to make the Wildcats pay for it. Tucker this time, again, it looked like maybe a busted play. Maybe it's designed that way, but Tucker diving towards the corner of the end zone, and he gets in. Case Tucker takes it in from 6 yards out, and the Tigers extend their lead.
And you called it exactly, busted play, as the halfback lined up behind Tucker. Tucker opens up to the left, and the halfback goes the opposite direction, so Tucker takes it upon himself just to race to the pylon on the other side of the field and into the end zone, and the Wildcats find themselves in a 2-touchdown hole to start this game.
Took the Tigers just 2 plays to go the 17 yards, 40 seconds off the clock, and now Wilkerson to add on the point after. Out of the hold of Joel Beshore. Snap is on the tee. The kick is high, and it just sneaks inside the left upright. So another conversion by Wilkerson, and with 6:06 left to go in the first, Lamar now leads it 14-0. The turnover proves costly as the Tigers put 7 points on the board.
Yeah, turnovers are killers, Sammy. The Wildcats were able to pick up first down, then a penalty, made it 1st and 15, then a turnover, giving the Tigers great field position, and they take advantage, and we talk about it a lot. Good football teams, they take advantage when the other team makes a mistake or gives you a gift, and that's why the Wildcats find themselves in a 14-0 hole right here in the first quarter.
Tonight's game also brought to you in part by White Funeral Home. They measure their success by the satisfaction of those they serve. Families trust White Funeral Home, and they have for decades. White Funeral Home in Cassville. Jericho Ferris back at his 15 again, awaiting the kick of Austin Wilkerson. He's flanked by Reese and Cooper. So the Tigers jump out quickly, 14-0 Lamar here, and only 6 minutes off the clock. Wilkerson approaches, kicks this one high down the right hash. Ferris coming over, and he and Reese collide at the 20-yard line. The ball comes loose. Reese picks it up, tries to reverse and go all the way across to the other hash, and gets out to about the 25. But another disaster averted right there as Ferris and Reese ran into each other. The ball hit the ground, but Reese was able to pick it up. And it's going to be 1st and 10 Cassville at their own 25.
Yeah, lack of communication right there. It's not very often on a kickoff. You see the ball hang in the air that long, and it was short where you have 2 return men have the opportunity to catch it. It's just a matter of cleaning that up and communicating a little bit.
So the Wildcats quickly up to the line of scrimmage, split backfield behind Sink. They send a receiver to the right side. They give it off to the tailback Ferris. He's hit just as he gets through the line of scrimmage, turns around and falls forward out to about the 22, or excuse me, the 27, as it's a gain of 2, and it'll bring up 2nd down and 8.
Now the Tigers, you look at this defense, and right over the football, they've got.
Do you think it's going to be hard to run right up the middle?
Well, Ryan Wooldridge, senior, offensive line, defensive tackle. I mean, he's right over the football, 6'4", 330 pounds. That's tough to deal with.
So 2nd down and 8. Twin receivers to the left. They bring Cooper in motion, and we've got a whistle again. And it may be another procedure penalty against the Wildcats, and it is. That's going to back them up 5 yards.
Well, this Wildcat football team, after last week, they're coming out tonight and just really out of sync. And uncharacteristic penalties, uncharacteristic turnover, and they find themselves in a 2nd and long here.
It turns a 2nd and 8 into a 2nd down and 13. Clock continuing to move as we close in on 5 minutes left to go in the opening quarter. Cooper in motion. They pitch the ball to Kanan. He's got Ferris leading the way. Cornerback coming up trying to make a tackle. Kanan gets by him and races down the sidelines across the 35 and picks up a 1st down. He's pushed out of play at the 37, but we got a flag back at the 23. And it will be a hold called against Cassville. So the 1st down run by Kanan's going to be taken away. And the flag thrown after only about a half a yard gain. So Cassville right now going the wrong direction with the penalty flags.
Yeah, definitely a frustrating start to this game for the Wildcats. Nice run there on the toss sweep by Kanan, finishing it off with lowering that shoulder, brought back by a holding. And I'll tell you what, you've got a 2nd and forever right now.
That moves it all the way back to the 12. They need to get all the way out to the 35 to pick up a 1st down.
At this point, Wildcats obviously would love a 1st down, but they've got a couple of downs here to gain some yardage and try to flip this field.
Sink this time goes from the shotgun. He's got Ferris off his right hip. He's looking to throw. He's got a little time now, steps up in the pocket. Ferris gets behind the defensive secondary, and the ball is overthrown. Ferris had run right by the cornerback. That was Logan Crockett and was wide open out near midfield, but the ball drifted out beyond his reach, and it'll bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, the wheel route, Ferris coming out of that backfield, getting down that Wildcat sideline. And we saw Sink kind of motioning to get downfield, and he threw that football, and Ferris had about 3 steps on his man, and the ball just a little bit overthrown right there. Certain touchdown if that ball's completed.
So 3rd down and a bundle. And Cassville back around their own 12-yard line. Tigers shifting along the defensive front. Cassville goes unbalanced to the right. And Sink hands the ball off, and Lamar's defense is all over it, and the ball comes free, and it looks like the Tigers have picked up another fumble, this time inside the 10. Not sure what happened there. Our view was obscured by not only defensive but offensive players, but the ball hit the ground, and the Tigers have it at the Cassville 6.
Well, pre-snap, they brought Kanan in motion from left to right to set him up in the slot on the right, and it looked like Sink actually faked a handoff to Ferris going right behind all the blockers, and Sink was going to keep it and come back to the weak side of the defense, and the Tigers right there make the hit, ball hits the turf, and once again, the Tigers knocking on the door.
They already lead 14-0, looking to add to that here, and we've still got 4.5 minutes left to go in the first half. They hand the ball off to Joel Beshore, and Beshore slices his way inside the 5 down to about the 3, as he is able to pick up about half of the yardage to the goal line. It'll bring up 2nd and goal.
Well, the Wildcats have spent the entire first quarter with their backs against the wall here. And the Tigers threatening to go up 3 scores.
They send a pair of receivers out to the left. Tucker again from the shotgun. Cassville showing blitz. Man comes in motion. Tucker's going to keep it. Racing up the middle. In behind a couple of offensive linemen. He dives into the end zone. Touchdown Tigers. They got some pressure on him. Spencer Moeller, one of the backers, got into the backfield and reached out and grabbed a hold, but Tucker was able to get just enough of a bounce off of him and then kept his feet underneath him and falls into the end zone for this touchdown.
This is turning into a rough night for the Cassville Wildcats. The only positive that you can find right now is the fact that we are still in. There's still 4 minutes to go in the first quarter, not half a first quarter. And we've seen so far in the scores this year that the Tigers are susceptible to giving up points. So if the Wildcats can get things cleaned up a little bit, there's a lot of time left in this football game.
The extra point by Austin Wilkerson is good. So with 4:03 left to go in quarter number 1, Cassville now trails 21-0. Again, tonight's first quarter brought to you by Michael's Hardware. Let them quarterback your project with the right tools and supplies for the job. Michael's Hardware, 186 Sale Barn Road in Cassville. Friendly folks, serious hardware. So the Wildcats will once again be setting up to return the kick of Austin Wilkerson. 2 turnovers have led to 2 touchdowns for the Tigers. And Lamar had already scored on their opening possession of the night, and they lead it 21-0. And only 8 minutes gone here in the first quarter of play.
Well, we just talked about a lot of game left, but this possession, this series for the Wildcats, it almost feels like you've got to do something here, get some points on the board.
At least get some momentum going.
Yeah, start whittling away here at this lead.
So it's Ferris in the middle, flanked by Cooper and Reese. And Wilkerson boots this one down the middle, and we've got whistles as Ferris hauls it in back at the 14.
One of the coverage guys for the Tigers beat the kicker to the ball here, so they're going to get to move that back and try again.
Second penalty against the Tigers for a total of 15 yards. Cassville's been flagged 3 times already for 20 yards.
3 penalties and 2 turnovers in 8 minutes of football. That is not a recipe for success.
No, it is not. Wilkerson tees it up back at the 35 now, and the return men for Cassville move up 5 to 7 yards.
And the Wildcats should start this drive with good field position.
So Wilkerson this time kicks a line drive kick towards the Cassville sidelines, and it goes into the Cassville bench, and another penalty flag comes out. So the Wildcats more than likely will take this at their own 35 and start from there, and it looks like that's what's going to happen.
And I think they're going to, are they going to make them re-kick here? Looking at the officials, the Wildcat offense is on the field.
Referee talking to one of the linesmen right now. The umpire comes in.
I think maybe the spot should be on the 40 since they were moved back.
Oh, since they were kicking from the, they got moved back. That's right.
And that is the case. So the Wildcats are going to start on the 40-yard line here.
Because the penalty had moved them back 5 yards when they kicked it, so that carries over to where they spot the ball after the kick going out of bounds. So it's 1st and 10 Cassville at their own 40. They trail 21-0 with 4 minutes left to go in quarter number 1. Sink fakes the handoff up the middle, takes it around the right end. Wilkerson hits him. Sink keeps it going forward and fights for an extra yard, maybe a yard and a half, but a small gain on first down. It'll bring up second down at about 7.
Yeah, fake to the fullback, Sink keeping it himself. And these Wildcat runners are going to need to focus on ball security moving forward here, as the Tigers are getting hats and hands and arms and everything else on the football, and Wildcats not taking very good care of it right now.
Yeah, now that they've got a 21-point lead, they're gambling a little bit as well. They're coming flying at the football and even bringing an extra man every now and then. But that will leave gaps if they can get through the line of scrimmage, and Ferris nearly able to find one of those gaps, but it closed quickly. He was able to race across the 45 out to the 48, as he is able to pick up 5 yards, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 1. They spot him down between the 48 and the 49-yard line.
Yeah, good physical run, straight ahead by Ferris right there, taking on contact and just keeps those legs moving. Both arms wrapped around the football.
Cassville 0 for 2 on 3rd down conversion tries, but this one 3rd and 1 just shy of midfield. They split the backfield behind Sink. Sink on the quarterback keeper, stood up, but then ducks his shoulders and plows across midfield.
Well,
but
it's gonna
do
be
they
close.
give him a spot for a first down? This one's going to be very close. We may have to see a measurement here. We haven't had very many measurements this year. But they spot it across the 50, and they signal first down, so they will not have to bring the chains in. Wildcat First Down brought to you by Superior Metal. Find them online at superiormetalsalesinc.com.
A good spot right there. Wildcats move the chains, keep the drive alive here.
So 1st and 10 just across the 50 into Lamar territory. They pitch the ball to Ferris, makes a cutback. He's inside the 45, spins off one man down to the 44. Took a big lick, but held on to the football, and it'll bring up 2nd down and about 4.
Yeah, toss sweep to Ferris there going around that right edge. Tried to hit the brakes, took a shot, was able to spin out of it. A nice job hanging onto the ball right there. He took a pretty good lick.
I tell you one thing, these Tigers are hitting.
Absolutely. And you expect that. I mean, they're a big physical football team.
So 2nd down and a long 4 for Cassville. Twin receivers to the short side. They pitch it back to Kanan. Makes a cut back at the 43. Races inside the 40 and is upended at the 38, but picks up another Cassville first down. So now the Wildcats starting to get a little motion and movement going. The Wildcat First Down brought to you by Superior Metals. Call for a free quote, 888-364-9527.
Yeah, toss sweep this time to Kanan around the left side. He hits the brakes, goes downhill. Good effort right there, diving for that first down.
Zach Kanan with 12 yards unofficially on 3 carries. 1st and 10 at the Tiger 37, 38-yard line. Sink fakes the pitch to Kanan. Ducks inside the 35 down to about the 34.5 or 33.5, excuse me. And it'll bring up 2nd down and nearly 7 to go.
Well, option game around the left side. Faked it. Ferris going through. Faked the pitch, and probably a good play. They didn't, not a big gain there, but a smart play there by Sink not to pitch the football. There were 2 Lamar defenders waiting on Kanan to catch the pitch.
1 minute left to go here in the opening quarter. Cassville back to the I formation now behind Sink. They give the ball to Ferris. Ferris is hit right after he receives the handoff and is drugged down right at the 35-yard line. So no gain on the play, or excuse me, 34-yard line.
Yeah, defender for the Tigers coming from the backside as somebody missed a block up there, and Ferris really nowhere to go.
So it'll bring up 3rd down and 6 from the Tiger 34. Cassville still looking to convert their first 3rd down opportunity of the night. They're 0 for 3 up to this point. We're down to 25 seconds left to go in the quarter. Moeller and Cooper go out wide to the right. They split Kanan and Ferris in the backfield. Sink rolling to the right side. Picks up a block. Now looking for running room. Runs into one of his own men and then is hit by a defender. Gets down to the 35. And that is going to be it. So a half a yard loss, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Sink rolling to his right there. And he was looking back to the left like he was expecting a receiver to come dragging from the backside, but both receivers were out on the right edge. So not sure what was going on with that play.
That'll be the last play of the first quarter. 12 minutes complete here at Cassville as we head to quarter number 2. Lamar leads it over the Wildcats 21-0. We'll be back after this break. You're listening to Big 8 Football here on the Talon Network. Marple back here at Cassville. Lamar Tigers lead the Cassville Wildcats 21-0 as we get set to start the second quarter. Tonight's second quarter is brought to you by Roark Diesel. Since 2006, they've been providing Cassville and the surrounding area with a huge selection of diesel performance products. You can give Roark Diesel a call at 847-6560 or find them online, roarkdiesel.com. 4th down and 7 for Cassville at the Lamar 35, and they're lining up to go for it. Trailing by 3 scores. They run the hitch and pitch, but Cooper has to bobble it before he can bring it in. A flag is thrown in the Cassville backfield. Cooper has the yardage for the first down after taking a great lick over there and hanging on to the ball. But the flag back at the 43, but it looks like it's going to be roughing the passer against Lamar, so they do convert on fourth down and pick up a huge first down play.
The Wildcats had the hitch and pitch set up perfectly right there. The ball a little inaccurate as Cooper had to really make a nice catch, kind of reach behind him and extend his arms to catch that football. Then he was able to shake out of the tackle, and he picked up that first down yardage. And on top of that, you've got a roughing the passer call, so this is going to move the Wildcats on down the field.
It was a gain of 10, and then the penalty tacked on after that will move it all the way down. It looks like they're going to spot it about the 12-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 Cassville from there.
Well, big play call on fourth down right there, and the Wildcats would have converted it without the penalty. The penalty will just add on to the end of that play. So when you're down 3 scores early, you take chances, and we saw the Wildcats do that right there.
It's a half the distance to the goal penalty since it's a 15-yarder, and they were at the 25, so at about the 12.5-yard line. Sink going to run the option behind Ferris and Kanan, cuts back and dives inside the 10 down to about the 8. Looks like they're going to say his knee went down at the 9 after a pickup of 3.
Yeah, Sink not following his 2 lead blockers that time. Saw a seam back behind them, tried to hit it, was upended. But he did have some positive yardage right there.
Cassville's held the ball for 5 minutes on this drive. It started back at their own 40, and they're down to the 9-yard line of the Tigers, trailing 21-0, looking to get some points on the board here early in the second quarter. Reese and Cooper go wide to the left. Kanan Ferris in the backfield. They pitch the ball to Ferris. He's got Kanan leading the way, gets to the edge, turns upfield, and dives inside the 5. We'll see where they spot him down. Looks like they're going to place him at the 4 for a 5-yard pickup.
Ferris using that speed, toss sweep, using that speed to get to the edge and turn down the field. Going to be a little short, 1.5 yards maybe, 2 yards.
Yep. Looks like a 3rd and nearly 2 to go. The ball resting at the 4-yard line. I formation now. They give it to Ferris. Kanan leading the way. Ferris is hit in the backfield, dives back across the line of scrimmage. Picks up 1, but he needed 2. And it looks like it's going to be 4th down and 1 yard to go. Well, they're going to give it a look. The officials are going to check to the sidelines. He actually got a better spot than it originally appeared. It looks like they're going to bring the chains on and check this one out for sure. The Wildcat first down measurement is brought to you by White Funeral Home. They give the extra measure to help those that come to them in their time of family need. White Funeral Home in Cassville. Other scores around the Big 8. Nevada leading Monette 6-0. Buffalo and Aurora scoreless. Mount Vernon on top of Rogersville 14-0. McDonald County has a 12-0 lead over Frontenac, Kansas. Reed Spring and Hollister scoreless, and Marshfield leads East Newton 13-0. All of those were either late in the first or early in the second quarter. We've got a 21-0 game here. Lamar on top of Cassville. They're stretching the chains out. They're getting down and looking at it, and they say they came up just short. So it will be 4th down and inches for Cassville at the 2.5 yard line.
Well, we see the Wildcats come with a rhino package a lot of times, short yardage situations. Wildcats have a 240-pound quarterback. We see the sneak. You like the Wildcats' chances in short yardage situations.
And Ethan Fox, who was out last week, dinged up a little bit. He is a very good blocker in his own right, joins Kanan and Ferris in the backfield. So 4th down and inches, and Sink on the quarterback keeper, and he's going to push himself all the way into the end zone. Touchdown, Cassville.
Yeah, nice job right there. And you can see Sink as he set up, put that left foot behind him a little bit to get a little traction and took that snap and just followed that offensive line. Good push, 2.5 yards into the end zone. Nice job. And that's Wildcats needed that, Sammy, to get back in this game.
The Wildcat touchdown brought to you by Willis Insurance, one of the area's oldest businesses, established in 1887. They're conveniently located on the square in Cassville and also in the Bridgeway Plaza in Shell Knob. Stop by Willis Insurance, your trusted choice insurance agent. Drake Reese now to attempt the extra point out of the hold of Cutter Hicks. Snap back, it's on the tee. The kick away by Reese, and he drills it. The Wildcat extra point brought to you by the Barbecue Station. They're located just north of the Cassville Square at 900 Main. Get your bib on at the Barbecue Station, or you could also call them for your next catered event, 847-0470. 9:44 left to go before halftime. Cassville's on the board. Lamar leading 21-7.
Well, the Tigers own the first quarter. No reason the Wildcats can't own the second quarter, get back in this thing. Home football game tonight, only the second time the Wildcats have been home this year. Not used to playing here. Maybe that's the problem.
That might be.
But we'll see here. This is a big series for this Wildcat defense to come out and really try to set the tone for the rest of this game.
A 14-play, 60-yard drive, capped off by the 2-yard plunge from Sink, took 6:15 off the clock, and that's what the Wildcats need: ball control and finishing off long drives.
Well, you're down 3 scores, but it's early, so you can afford to do that. The Wildcats don't have to change anything at this point, but when you keep the Tiger offense off the field, it's hard for them to score. But when you're on offense, you got to take care of the football, and that's what the Wildcats were able to do there, and ultimately ended up with 6 points.
Drake Reese now to kick it away. The Wildcat kickoff brought to you by Baywash Car Wash. A clean car is a happy car, and that makes you feel good. And he kicks a line drive, and it's kept from going into the end zone by Ian Ngui, and he will bring it out from there, and he's got a great return across the 30 out to the 35, but we got a flag back at the 20.
And we'll see what the flag is here. And Ngui,
only a freshman.
Showed some nice speed right there. 5'6", 145 pounds. And I tell you what a play to race back to about the 1-yard line and then reach up and catch that line drive kick and balance himself without going into the end zone. And then I tell you what, he shot down the middle of the field like a bullet.
Yeah.
Nice speed.
Does not take him long to get going full speed, that's for sure. This one will go against the Tigers, thrown at the 20. It'll move them back to the, where are they going to put it, just outside the 10.
Now this is where the Wildcat defense, you've got to take advantage of this and get the football back with good field position.
Actually just inside the 10. We'll go ahead and just call it the 10-yard line, and that's where the Tigers will start. So a 10-yard penalty against the Tigers. They've been flagged 3 times for 25 yards here in the early going. We've seen more flags here in the first half of this one than we've had all season. Tigers trying to break out of the hole. They race around the right end. And that time, trying to get the number of the ball carrier as he comes back. It looks like that was Tucker himself, the quarterback, as he is able to move out to about the 13-yard line, a gain of 3, and it'll bring up second down and long.
Yeah, just took the snap and raced around that right edge.
Tucker already with a couple of touchdowns here tonight. Minimal gain there on first down. Worst starting field position by far for the Tigers here tonight. Trying to dig their way out of a hole. Cassville now showing some pressure from the edge, and that got somebody to move over there on that side, and it'll be a 5-yard penalty against Lamar and back them up some more.
Well, this kind of the tale of 2 quarters right now. As whatever the Wildcats had going on in that first quarter seems to have rubbed off a little bit on the Tigers.
I think it has.
And that is just fine if you're a Wildcat fan.
So the ball now moved back inside the 10 at the Lamar 8, and it'll bring up second down and nearly 12. Tucker from the shotgun steps up, now hands on the end around, a little misdirection again, and the Tiger running back breaks a couple of tackles and races down the sidelines. And that, for the first time tonight, was Logan Crockett, as he is able to race down the Lamar sidelines and pick up a first down to the 25.
Crockett, another young player for this Lamar Tiger football team, sophomore. Good-sized kid, 6 foot, 195 pounds, showed some nice speed to get all the way out there to the Tiger sideline and pick up a big first down after a penalty.
It's a gain of 17. First and 10 Lamar at their own 25. 8:42 left to go in the first half. Lamar leading 21-7. They jumped out to a 21-0 lead. Now the snap goes by Tucker. Here comes Ferris trying to get away from the pressure. Tucker getting upended way back near the 10-yard line. Good job by the Cassville defense. Once they saw the loose ball, it was like sharks in the water, and they went flying after Tucker, and a big loss on the play.
And it looks like the Tigers have called a timeout after that. And they're seeing kind of what we were seeing. The entire team out there in this timeout huddle over there on the Lamar sideline is, hey, you guys are going to give this thing right back to the Wildcats. And Wildcats trying to make the Tigers pay for a big mistake right here.
It's a loss of 13. And even though it wasn't Case Tucker's fault, he gets the negative yardage tagged onto him after the snap went way wide of him. It wasn't one of those snaps over his head. I mean, it went like a yard and a half or 2 yards to his left.
Well, he couldn't reach out and touch it. I mean, it was that far. And he had Jericho Ferris chasing him. Ferris, normally see him in a safety position. Tonight, he's one of 4 linebackers just to get a little more speed in that linebacking core to deal with this Lamar Tiger running game. And Ferris chased him down. Didn't end up making the play, but really forced him into the defense.
So second down and a bundle again. They need to get out to the 35 to pick up the first down. The line of scrimmage, the 12. Tonight's second quarter brought to you by Roark Diesel. They're located on Highway 37, just north of Cassville. Find them online at roarkdiesel.com. Tigers running the football. A bunch of black jerseys all over the ball carrier once again. They're able to push out to the 16 for a gain of 3, maybe 4. And that was Austin Wilkerson, the ball carrier that time. And it's going to bring up third down and about 20 to go.
Well, the Tigers trying to catch the Wildcats asleep, busting out of the huddle, getting on the football, snapping it quickly. The Wildcats did a good job to stop at third and about 20 here. And the Wildcats look to get this football back with good field position.
Tigers 2 for 2 on third down conversion tries. They go with a quick snap this time, and here they go around the right end as everyone pulling and leading the way to block for Joel Beshore, as it was a direct snap to him, and he is able to race out to the 25, but still comes up well short of the first down.
Yeah, gained about 10 yards on the play. And the Tigers will run the punt team on the field. So the Wildcat defense does what they need to do here to get the ball back.
Fourth down and 10, Tigers. And Austin Wilkerson also does the punting, so he handles all the kicking duties for the Tigers. Brett Cooper back at his own 38-yard line. And now we've got a whistle as Joel Beshore had went in motion, but it looks like Cassville
did not
calls
have enough.
a timeout.
Cassville only had 10 on the field.
So to avoid the short-handed play, they have to use one of their timeouts with 7:06 left to go here in the first half. Lamar leading 21-7. Timeout on the field brought to you by Security Bank of Southwest Missouri. Security Bank can cash checks, accept debits, and make loans, but the distinguishing factor between them and other banks is their level of service to the customer. Whether it's a loan decision or the processing of your bank statement, the decisions and services of Security Bank are generated by the local bank staff in a prompt, fair, and professional manner. Security Bank of Southwest Missouri, member FDIC. So we get set up to go again. 4th and 10 for the Tigers. And Wilkerson in to kick it away. First time Lamar's had to punt. It's a high snap, but not over Wilkerson's head. He gets it down. He gets a pretty nice high kick away. Cooper dropping back to his 37, hauls it in, and slips down to a knee, and they'll spot him down at the 38.
Yeah, really nice job there. Cooper ran a long way to catch that punt and kept the field position in the Wildcats' favor. If he's not able to get over there and catch that, that ball's probably going to roll another 15, 20 yards. So a really nice job to get over and catch that ball.
37-yard kick, no return. 1st and 10 Cassville at their own 38-yard line with 6:59 now left to go in the first half, and the Wildcats trailing 21-7. Twin receivers to the left. They pitch the ball to Kanan, running in behind Ferris, running to that left side. Kanan trying to get to the edge. Good speed shown by the Tiger cornerback to get up and get into the legs of Kanan, and drop him after a 2-yard pickup out to the 40. Kanan now with 14 yards on 4 carries here in the ball game, and it'll bring up 2nd down and 8. Tonight's second quarter brought to you by Roark Diesel. If your engine is just not right, bring it to Roark Diesel. They specialize in diesel performance. Call 847-6560. Sink gives the ball to Ferris. Ferris has to jump over a defender in the backfield and then is hit from behind and dropped for a loss. And boy, the Tiger defense is just pinning back their ears and coming after Cassville right now.
They really are. That defensive line is giving the Wildcat offensive line some fits right here. And Ferris, got to be frustrating for him. More than half his carries, he's had a defender in the backfield with him and he was able to leap over one, but by then there's just nowhere to go.
It's a loss of 1, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 9. The ball's spotted at the Cassville 39-yard line. Sink looking to throw, and now we've got whistles and a flag from the far side of the field. And we've got another false start against the Wildcats.
Wow. Wow, at this point, in the first quarter, you can kind of maybe chalk that up to some adrenaline. But at this point in the football game, it's just focus, Sammy. I mean, I think that's all you can call it, is just losing some focus here on what you're trying to do.
So 3rd down and 14 now facing Cassville. 5:28 left to go here in the second quarter. Lamar scoring 21 points in the first quarter. They lead at 21-7. Cassville has punched it in here in quarter number 2, but now a penalty has them in a hole here. 3rd and 14. Sink fakes the handoff, runs out across the 35, but is upended before he can get to the 40-yard line. Looks like they're going to spot him down just shy of the 39 after a gain of 5, and it'll bring up 4th down and 9.
Yeah, 3rd and long right there, and Wildcats run a little quarterback power. Looking at a situation where you may not be real comfortable or confident in your passing game right now, and you want to keep the field position in your favor.
Reese in to punt for the first time. The snap nearly goes over his head, but he pulls it down, kicks it high but short, bounces at the 35, takes a big Cassville hop down to the 30, and then backs up, and Hernan Hernandez downs it at the 31 of the Tigers.
Wildcats are very fortunate that Drake Reese is 6'2" or 6'3" right there and was able to go up and avert certain disaster right there, and had a little more time to kick that ball than he realized. Nonetheless, he gets it away. 4.5 minutes to go until halftime here. This Wildcat defense is going to be asked to get the ball back once again. The Cassville did not win the coin flip to start the game, but the Tigers elected to receive, so Cassville will get the football back coming out after halftime.
Ends up being a 32-yard kick, no return. Tigers football at their own 31. 21-7, Lamar with the lead. 4:25 left to go before the break. Man comes in motion. Tucker hands the ball off to him, and he's trying to get to the edge and run down from behind by Jericho Ferris. That was Cade Griffith on his first carry of the night, and it goes for negative yardage.
Yeah, great job there, Ferris. Again, moved up, playing a little linebacker tonight, get a little more speed in that linebacking core. Great read on the play, and I tell you what, it's not easy to tackle on the open field, and Ferris just put on a clinic right there, and just a really nice job stepping up and making a big play for his defense.
It's a loss of 3, 2nd down and 13. The ball now back at the Lamar 28-yard line. Cassville with a 4-man front. Tucker with a quick step and now going to run it on a delayed carry, and he pushes back to the 31, which is the original line of scrimmage, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, just straight ahead. Nice job in there. Looked like Rybert in on the play, and another great opportunity here for this Wildcat defense. 3rd and long. See if they can get the Tigers off the field again.
Well, the Tigers converted their first 2 3rd down trips, but they did not the last time, and now an end around goes to Crockett. Crockett has the first down as he races around the right end, still on his feet, dragging a defensive back along with him, and he brings it all the way across the 45 to the 47.
3rd and 9, and the Tigers get 14 or 15. It's a misdirection play. They've run it several times tonight. The Wildcats just are not maintaining backside help. They're over pursuing a little bit, and the Tigers are gashing them on the backside.
So 1st and 10 Lamar. Tucker now looking to throw, and he launches one-on-one coverage down here in front of the Cassville bench, and a great job by Ewing as he breaks up the intended pass to Gastel. Jerome Ewing coming back last week, playing with a cast on that left hand after having an injury back in week number 2, but he did a great job there one-on-one with Gastel and was able to step in and knock it away.
Yeah, really nice job there. The taller receiver, it ended up, ball was underthrown. Ended up being a jump ball situation. A really nice job there by Ewing, as you said, to go right up with the receiver and knock the pass away.
So 2nd down and 10. Now we got a flag in the backfield, as we've got a procedure penalty, false start against the Tigers. So neither team playing a very clean game here in the first half. And we're under 3 minutes now left to go before halftime. Lamar leading 21-7. 5-yard penalty is the 5th of the half against the Tigers for 35 yards. And it'll move it back to the 43. And it'll bring up 2nd down and 16. Case Tucker this time starts to run up the middle, hands it to Crockett. They try that little run around the end again, and this time Cassville does a better job defending it. Crockett able to get back to the line of scrimmage and pick up a yard, maybe 2, but stopped shy of midfield. Well, it looks like they're going to give him a little better spot than I thought. They're going to give him about a 5-yard gain out to the 48, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 10.
And once again, 3rd and long. Got to play disciplined football right here.
2:14 left to go before halftime. 3rd down and long facing the Tigers. They're going to have to hurry. The play clock is down to 5 seconds. They're up and set. Tucker fakes the pass, and now he's going to run, and he's got room, and he's got a 1st down all the way down to the Cassville 37-yard line. Got drugged down from behind. He is hollering at the official wanting a horse collar, but they didn't really have him around that neck area. It was more out on the shoulder pad, and it is a 1st down for the Tigers.
Really, it's really unbelievable how the Tigers have been able to convert on that. Is that maybe the 4th, 3rd, and 9 or 10 that they've been able to convert out here tonight?
It's a gain of 14 yards for Tucker, and on 1st down, they go off right tackle this time, a little more power style. And a good gain on 1st down as Joel Beshore takes it down to the 32-yard line and picks up 6.
Clock continuing to run, just under a minute and a half to go until halftime. This Wildcat defense desperately trying to keep the Tigers out of the end zone going into half.
2nd down and 4 facing Lamar. Down to a minute 15 left to go before the break. Tucker this time from the shotgun brings Beshore in motion. He'll set up on the right side. Tucker looking back to the left. They're going to the end zone, and the ball comes out wobbling. It's underthrown. Gastel comes back to it and nearly made a miraculous sliding catch at the 10-yard line, but he couldn't get his hands underneath it. And that ball just came out funny out of Tucker's hand. I mean, it came out wobbling.
All 3 times we've seen Tucker throw the ball in this game have been, we used to call those wounded ducks. We did not see that in warm-up. He was throwing a very crisp, tight spirals with a lot of velocity, and we just hadn't seen that in the game so far. The ball hung up, and the Tigers are very fortunate the ball wasn't intercepted. And just another opportunity where the Wildcats had a chance to come up with a big turnover.
Another 3rd down here, 3rd down and 4. They give on the inside handoff to Crockett. He's got the corner, and he's got the 1st down over on the Lamar sidelines, and finally driven out of bounds inside the 25, down at the 24 after a gain of 8. We're under a minute to go now, and with the player going out of bounds, the clock is stopped temporarily.
Stopped with 52 seconds to go. The chains will move once again. Another 1st down for the Lamar Tigers.
Lamar on top 21-7, looking to gain that 3-score advantage back before halftime. They jumped out to a 21-0 lead in the first quarter. So 1st and 10, just inside the Cassville 25. Tucker gives it to Crockett again, trying to get to the edge. Sidesteps one man, makes another man miss, and he picks up another 1st down as he races down to about the 12-yard line.
Tigers have just been repeatedly able to seal the edge, to seal the end, and allow those backs to get to the edge and turn downfield. And you're talking about a sophomore in Crockett, and he's having a big night right now.
It's a gain of 12. He's got 60 yards already here in the first half. And now Lamar calls a timeout with 41 seconds left to go in the half. The Tigers looking to, or excuse me, that was Cassville. The referee changes and says Cassville timeout, charge to them. Timeout on the field is brought to you by Security Bank. Do you want mobile banking, ATMs, and multiple branches, all types of loans, and still be able to go into a lobby and see your personal banker? That's what you get at Security Bank of Southwest Missouri. Take time out to look at Security Bank, member FDIC. The ball is setting at about the 11.5-yard line. We're going to go ahead and call it the 11. First and 10 Tigers. This is the longest drive of the night for Lamar. This will be the 12th play of the drive coming up.
Converted 2 third and very longs on this drive. Keep it alive.
So Beshore sets up behind Tucker in the backfield. Tucker operating from the pistol. He's got receivers right and left. Gassel over here all by himself with Ewing on the wide side of the field. Play clock is down to 12. Long snap count. Now Tucker gets it. Going to run the football. Breaks a tackle at the 10, and he's into the end zone. It looked like they had him bottled up at the 10-yard line, and suddenly he broke into the open and ran untouched for the score, and the Lamar Tigers have added to their lead with 35 seconds left to go in the half.
Wow. Wow, just a killer drive, killer series for the Wildcats. Not able to get the Tigers off the field. Ultimately ending up with another Lamar Tiger touchdown.
Extra point attempt by Austin Wilkerson is on the way, and it is good. So the Tigers have their 3-score lead back again. It's 28-7 here with a little over a half a minute to go before the break. A 12-play, 69-yard drive. Took 4 minutes off the clock. And the Tigers on top 28-7.
Made things a little more difficult for the Wildcats, Sammy. They'd fought back, bring it to 2 scores. Now back to 3, and they're running out of time. I know there's a whole another half of football to play, but you've got to get it in the end zone, and you've got to find a way to get the Tigers off the field. They're just, Wildcats just have not been able to do it.
Yeah, now granted, Lamar has had 2 short fields to work with in their 4 touchdown drives, but they've scored on 4 of their 5 possessions here in the first half. And you're exactly right. They got to find a way to get them stopped a little more often than what we've been seeing here in the first 2 quarters.
Need some success defensively on 3rd down.
Wilkerson tees it up at the 40. And Jericho Ferris back at his own 15. Wilkerson's been varying where he's been kicking the ball. He's kicked it down the middle once. He's kicked it one hash one time, one hash the other. This one's back down the middle, and Ferris fields it back at the 10, and he'll bring it out. He's across the 15, across the 20, breaks the tackle, across the 30, into the open, out across the 40-yard line, and finally pushed out of bounds into the Lamar bench, out around the 46 or 47. A great return by Ferris.
Wildcats going to get the football near midfield right here. 27 seconds to go. And our cameraman says there's another flag on the field.
It's not quite as far back as some of the other ones had been, but it's back around the 37 or 38-yard line, which is about 10 yards behind where Ferris was pushed out of bounds.
And that's going to go against the Wildcats and probably take away an opportunity to get downfield and try a field goal with Reese. The Wildcats, with 1 timeout remaining, they can stop the clock once. So we'll see what they elect to do right here.
They put it at the 27-yard line, so another 10-yard penalty against Cassville. 6 flags against the Wildcats for nearly 50 yards here in the first half. 1st and 10. Under 30 seconds to go before the break. Sink gives the ball to Ferris. Ferris trying to pick up a block, and he runs into a double team and is driven back. No gain on the play, maybe a half a yard at most. It looks like they are going to give him a spot to the 28, so it'll bring up 2nd down and 9.
And the Wildcats look like they're going to let the clock run and go into halftime here and talk about this one a little bit.
Final seconds tick off the clock, and as they head to the locker room, Lamar leads Cassville 28-7. We'll take a break and be back with the Shoemaker Tire halftime show. You're listening to Big 8 Conference Football here on the Talon Network. Back at Cassville, we are at halftime. It's time for the Shoemaker Tire halftime show. Family owned and operated, Shoemaker Tire in Golden, Missouri. They've been serving customers in southwest Missouri and northwest Arkansas since 1961. Drop by Highway 86 in Golden, Missouri, or find them online, shoemakertire.com. 28-7, Lamar with the lead over Cassville here at halftime. It was an ugly first quarter tonight for the home team as Lamar put 21 points on the board in the first 12 minutes of play. The Tigers had a 8-play, 52-yard drive on their opening possession of the night. Trace Wilhite scoring on a 3-yard run to give the Tigers the early lead. But then it was a fumble by Cassville that set up a short field. Only 2 plays, 17 yards. A touchdown by Case Tucker added to the Tiger advantage. And then on the next possession, another fumble, and the Tigers only had to go 6 yards in 2 plays, and they led 21-0 at the end of the first quarter. Cassville got on the board early in the second quarter, 9:44 left to go in the first half. A 2-yard quarterback keeper from Hayden Sink that capped off a 14-play, 60-yard drive, and Drake Reese added the point after to make it 21-7. But then with 35 seconds left to go before the break, the Lamar Tigers put together a 12-play, 69-yard drive, and Case Tucker takes it in from 11 yards out, his third rushing touchdown of the first half, and the Tigers lead at 28-7 here at the break.
No, the Wildcats have not done themselves any favor, as we talked about 2 turnovers in the first quarter leading to Tiger touchdowns. But I tell you, another big story in this game, Sammy, is the inability of the Wildcat defense to get the Tigers off the field on third down. Third and long after third and long, the Tigers able to get to the edge, get up the sideline, and pick up first downs. And if the Wildcats can't stop that, they're not going to have a chance tonight. If the Wildcats are able to stop the Tigers on third down, this game looks totally different.
Yeah, Lamar 4 of 6 on third down conversions.
Yeah, and it's not like it's 3rd and 1. It's 3rd and 9 or 3rd and 10, 12. Doesn't matter. Third down, they're going to get it. And that's what they've done in this first half of football. The Wildcats have got to find a way to stop the bleeding on third down.
Looking at the other scores around the Big 8 here in week number 5, Monette at Nevada. The Tigers lead the Cubs 12-7 at halftime. Aurora, after a scoreless first quarter with number 9 ranked Buffalo, the Hound Dogs have broke it open, and they lead 30-7 at home over the Bison, and that game is also at halftime. Mount Vernon Rogersville 14-7, the Mountaineers over the Wildcats at the break. McDonald County has an 18-7 lead at halftime over Frontenac, Kansas. It's Reed Spring at Hollister leading the Tigers 10-6 at halftime, and late in the first half, Marshfield over East Newton 25-0.
Well, we talked about some of those games in the pregame, and one of the ones that I wanted to keep my eye on was that Buffalo-Aurora game. And the Hound Dogs, early this season, they were putting up points. Had a 50-point game, and they were really putting up the points. And last week or two, they've stumbled a little bit, but they've got some things figured out tonight, and they're giving Buffalo a dose of it right now at half. And, again, a lot of time left, another half of football. But number 9 ranked Buffalo getting it put on them. They're at Aurora tonight.
Yeah, came in 4-0. The Hound Dogs 2-2, but it's all Aurora at halftime over the Bison. The Lamar Tigers lead Cassville here at the break 28-7. Tonight's halftime show brought to you by Shoemaker Tire. Over 50 years, they've been taking care of their customers like no one else. Call Shoemaker Tire at 417-271-3490. We're going to take another break and be back with some of the first half stats. You're listening to Big 8 Football here on the Talon Network. Fans, when you attend a high school game, do you stand at attention during the national anthem? Do you cheer a good play by the opposing team? If your team loses, do you take it well in stride? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you're showing positive examples of sportsmanship. Don't forget that when you attend high school events, young eyes are watching you for examples of acceptable behavior. By making a conscious effort, you'll be helping show our students that can grow into better citizens in the future. The sportsmanship reminder brought to you by Access Family Care, with locations in Cassville, Neosho, Aurora, Mount Vernon, and Joplin. Tonight's broadcast of Wildcat football also brought to you in part by Sports World. Whether screen printing, embroidery on caps, jackets, uniforms, shirts, they can do it all. They also have a wide variety of sporting goods and school athletic clothing, all at Sports World, 709 Main Street on the square in Cassville. Call Sports World, 847-5366. And also on the square, Tomlin's Jewelry. We're getting closer and closer to the holiday season. In fact, it was on the news earlier this week. Some stores and businesses are already starting to get things geared up for Christmas, and we haven't even got to Halloween yet. But if you're looking for that special gift, it doesn't have to be for the holidays. Maybe it's a birthday or an anniversary. They've got it at Tomlin's Jewelry and Gifts. You can find that special jewelry item or gift right there on the square in Cassville. They've been doing it right for over 55 years. 28-7, Lamar leading Cassville here at the break. Tonight's halftime show brought to you by Shoemaker Tire, people you can trust for tires. Find them online at shoemakertire.com or drop by Shoemaker Tire, Highway 86 in Golden, Missouri. First half stats for Lamar: 24 carries for 145 yards. They completed 1 of 3 passes for 30 yards. The Tigers with 170 yards of total offense. Picked up 9 first downs, did not turn the ball over. They were penalized 5 times for 35 yards and punted once for 37 yards. Cassville, 22 carries for 60 yards. They completed 1 of 2 passes for 10 yards, so the Wildcats held to just 70 yards of offense here in the first half. They picked up only 5 first downs. They had 2 turnovers, both on lost fumbles. They were penalized 6 times for 48 yards and punted once for 32 yards. Cassville with 30 total plays in the first half. Lamar with just 31. Time of possession was pretty close as well. In fact, Cassville held a 1-minute advantage, 12.5 to 11.5. But Lamar taking advantage of the 2 turnovers in the short fields, and they lead at 28-7 here at the break.
Yeah, just a rough first half of football. A big story again tonight. I guess you could say 2 of them. The Wildcats turning the football over and third down efficiency for the Tigers, as they've been able to convert third downs all night long. And they're up 28-7 here, and the Wildcats are going to get this football back to start the second half. But, well, I tell you what, they've got quite a hole to dig themselves out of.
Looking at some of the individual numbers from the first half, Lamar spreading the ball around quite effectively. Logan Crockett's got 5 carries for 59 yards. Joel Beshore, 5 carries for 24 yards. Austin Wilkerson, 2 carries for 29 yards. Trace Wilhite has 2 carries and a touchdown. And Case Tucker, the quarterback, 36 yards on 9 carries and 3 touchdowns here in the first half. And Mason Gastel has 1 catch for 30 yards in the first half of play. Cassville led by Hayden Sink. He's got 25 yards on 10 carries and a touchdown. Jericho Ferris held to just 21 yards. He's averaging over 150 yards a game. He's held at 21 here in the first half on 8 carries. Zach Kanan, 14 yards on 4 carries. And Brett Cooper, 1 catch for 10 yards in the first half. The Wildcats are back out of the locker room. So are the Lamar Tigers. They're going through their warm-ups to get set to start the second half. Wildcats trail 28-7 here at the break. We're going to step aside and be back with quarter number 3. You're listening to Big 8 Football here on the Talon Network. Sammy Clapper and Jeremy Marple back here at Cassville. Todd Speakman running the camera for us, as always, on CassvilleWebTV.com and YouTube. We're just about ready to start the second half. Tonight's third quarter is brought to you by J&M Pallet Company. They build, design new and custom pallets. During this game and the games to come, Jeff reminds team members that through God all things are possible. In God we trust is the motto at J&M Pallet Company. Call 847-6732. That's 847-6732. Well, this battle of state-ranked teams here tonight. Lamar ranked number 3 in the state in Class 2. Cassville tied for 6th in Class 3. So far it's been all Lamar as they jumped out to a 21-0 first quarter lead, and they lead 28-7 here as we start the second half. But Cassville will get the football to start the second half of play. Lamar had won the opening toss but deferred their option. They elected to take the football, winning the coin toss, and they wanted the football to start things off. They scored on that opening drive, and they lead by 3 scores as we get set to start the second half of play. Jericho Ferris back at the 15, awaiting the kick of Austin Wilkerson. He gets the whistle, approaches, and we are underway in the second half. Ferris will haul it in back at his own 14-yard line, brings it up the left hash, sidesteps a man at the 25, breaks out across the 30, makes another man miss at the 35, and gets it out to the 41-yard line. A nice nifty return by Jericho Ferris has the Wildcats with good starting field position.
Yeah, nice return right there, and that's one thing that you'll continue to see all night is Ferris running hard. And we talked about his numbers at halftime, only 21 yards rushing. But I tell you what, when he's touched the football, there's just really had no room to work up front. And we'll see if that continues here in the second half. The Wildcats are going to need him to get loose, and that offensive line is going to have to do some work here.
I formation behind Sink. They give the ball to Ferris, right in behind Cannon. Big hole up the middle. He's across the 50, inside the 40. Gets around another man down to the 30 and is finally taken down at the 28-yard line. Big first down run for Jericho Ferris.
Yeah, just as we talked about it, that offensive line opens a huge hole right in the middle of the Tiger defense. Ferris takes care of the rest. Big run there and a great way to start the second half for the Cassville Wildcats.
31-yard pickup for Ferris and a 1st and 10 for the Wildcats at the Lamar 28. And now they're going to run the ball, and Ferris gets the call again, and this time he runs in to big number 64, and that's Ryan Wooldridge, the 6'4", 330-pound defensive lineman. And it's no gain on the play, and it'll bring up 2nd down and 10.
Well, as strong as Ferris is, he's not that strong. He's not 330 pounds. It's going to be hard for just about everybody to deal with when you run right into it.
They keep the I formation, Kanan and Ferris. Kanan takes on contact at the line of scrimmage from Tucker, and Ferris trying to bounce around that block from Kanan. He is able to fight down to about the 26, pick up a couple of yards, and it'll bring up 3rd down and long.
Big 3rd down in this football game.
Cassville 0 for 6 on 3rd down conversion tries in the first half. They did convert a couple of 4th downs. So here we go, 3rd down and a long 8. They pitch it to Ferris, nearly hit him in the shoulder pad and bounced off. He's able to hang on, but then Wilkerson runs him down along the sidelines, along the line of scrimmage, and it is going to be a loss of about a half a yard, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Well, this Tiger defense, they've got some big guys on that defensive line, but I tell you what, the safeties and the linebackers, they run exceptionally well, and they arrive with bad intentions. They are physical, and they are good tacklers, Sammy.
Yeah, out of the first 4.5 weeks, this is by far the most physical team we've seen. These guys, like you said, when they get to the football, they're laying the wood to the ball carrier. Hayden Sink wanting to throw. He rolls to his right. Now he's under pressure. The ball comes free. There's a scramble for it, and Sink is able to hang on back around the 37-yard line.
Yeah, it's 4th down anyway, Sammy. You got to get rid of that football. You can't afford to take a sack there. Even if the guy you want to throw to is covered up, you got to throw it. Give him a chance to make a play on the football. You take a sack, and it's kind of like a walk in baseball. You can't defend it.
They put it down at the 36, and that's where Lamar will take over on downs. So the Tigers hold as Cassville turns it over on 4th down, and the Tigers will take over at their own 36-yard line. Case Tucker from the pistol. He's got Beshore behind him. Or excuse me, that was not Beshore, that was Griffith. But Tucker's going to run it himself, and he is hit and wrapped up by Kanan. And his forward progress is stopped at about the 39-yard line for a pickup of 3 yards.
Yeah, we're getting to in the second half of this football game, and the Tigers, they're not going to be in any hurry right now. You're not going to see a lot of hurry up. They're going to run that clock and shorten this game and really put the pressure on the Wildcats.
So 2nd down and 7 for Lamar. They lead it 28-7 here early on in the third quarter. Tucker starts right, goes back left, gets a block from Gastel, takes it across the 45 out to the 47-yard line and picks up a Lamar first down.
Brought down there at the end of the run by Reese. Safety for the Wildcats. Not before the Tigers pick up another first down.
Nose of the football just touching the 48-yard line of Lamar. Tucker now unofficially 48 yards on 11 carries and 3 touchdowns tonight. Clock continues to move. 8:45 left to go here in quarter number 3. Lamar with the 28-7 lead. Cassville breaking things up, going with the 3-man front. They come with the blitz, and there's a hole, and Tucker takes advantage. He's inside the 45, makes another man miss. He's down inside the 30, tight ropes down the sidelines, and is finally pushed out of play down around the 26-yard line of the Wildcats.
Tucker had a big first half, starting off the second half in a big way as well, just taking it upon himself, getting some lanes to run through from that big offensive line, and he's a good runner, Sammy. 195 pounds, strong, able to break through arm tackles. He's able to work his way to the Wildcat sideline before being forced out.
It's a gain of 26. 1st and 10 Tigers at the Cassville 26. Lamar stays with the twin flankers, and now we've got movement prior to the snap of the football. I think it came from one of the wideouts over on the Lamar side. They had 2 receivers over there, and one of them got a little antsy and moved before the snap of the football. We've seen that plenty of times tonight from both teams, and it'll back them up 5 yards.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Lamar's played a really crisp game here tonight. They've been penalized. They've done some things, but they've done more good than bad, and they've got a big lead to have the football, and they're marching right now.
Yeah, that's the 6th flag against the Tigers for a total of 40 yards of penalties here this evening. But they've been able to overcome that to this point as they lead it 28-7. 1st and 15 at the Cassville 31. Tucker gives it to Crockett. Crockett this time, they turn him inside as Barbie, the defensive end, made him have to cut it back up into the Cassville defense, and Crockett did not have space over there to work with, and he is able to pick up only a couple of yards down to the 29.
Yeah, and that's a nice job right there, is not letting these guys that come with a full head of steam around when they get the handoff, not letting them get to the edge. Force them back to the defense. Let your teammates make a play.
So 2nd down and 13 now facing Lamar. Inside 8 minutes left to go, third quarter. Cassville shifting around on the defensive side. Tucker again looking at Gastel, underthrows him, and Gastel trying to make a diving catch, and they say he did at the 1-yard line. Another pass that wasn't very pretty, but Mason Gastel helped out his quarterback, dove back to the ball, and it's 1st and goal, Tigers at the 1.
Gastel had to come out of his route to go to the football, dove and got outstretched with his hands, was able to keep it off the turf. Just a great play there by Gastel.
The Tigers this time bunch everybody in the box as they've got their own version of the Rhino package. They give the ball to Crockett. He's hit as he gets the football, but second effort powers his way in, and the Tigers extend their lead to 34-7 with 7:27 left to go here in the third quarter. Logan Crockett's his first touchdown of the night.
Sammy, we knew the Tigers we know they're a good football team, and we know they've put up points. We didn't expect their defense to play like it has played tonight, but Lamar has come in here and played an exceptional football game. And we talk about they've had a few penalties, but they have come out and manhandled the Wildcats. They've been the more physical football team, and that is something that will not go over very well with head coach Lance Parnell. He prides his teams in being physical, and they have been out physical tonight up and down this football field.
The extra point by Wilkerson was no good. And with 7:27 left to go here in quarter number 3, it's 34-7 in favor of Lamar. So the Wildcats will await the kickoff of the Tigers as Lamar strikes first here in the second half, just as they did in the first half. They've scored on 5 of their 6 possessions tonight. Jericho Ferris back at his own 15-yard line, awaiting the kick of Austin Wilkerson. Cooper and Reese again flanking Ferris. Tonight's third quarter brought to you by J&M Pallet Company. With the motto, "In God We Trust." Remember, during the third quarters of your life, praise God whether you win or lose and give him the victory. Phone Jeff for all your pallet needs at 847-6732. Wilkerson boots this one high but not extremely deep. Ferris will return it from his own 12. Tries the right sideline this time. Makes a cut at the 25. Flags all over the place. Ferris across the 40 and forced out of bounds before he can get to midfield. But we've got 2 flags back between the 20 and the 25.
You're going to see a block in the back here, Sammy, on the Wildcats. And that's what that is. So nice return, going to be nullified by a penalty.
So Ferris gets credit for about a 13-yard return, but about 20 yards after that it will be taken away by the penalty flag as it's thrown at the 23. This is the 7th penalty against Cassville, and it will move it back to the 13-yard line, a loss of 10 on the flag. So once again, the Cassville Wildcats was looking to have pretty good starting field position there, but a penalty will have them backed up inside their own 15. Hayden Sink up under center. Fakes the handoff to Ferris. Launches one down the middle of the field, and there goes Drake Reese. One-on-one with Mason Gastel, and neither defender nor receiver could get to that one, as Reese had to come all the way across the field and the pass thrown too far out in front, and it'll fall incomplete.
Sink had time there, was able to wind up, showed a nice arm. The ball sailed on him just a little bit, and Reese just not able to catch up.
Yeah, Reese showing good speed there, had run by Gastel, but couldn't catch up with that one. Now Ferris on second down. Starts right, cuts back left, and has the pins taken out from underneath him at the 15-yard line after a pickup of 2.
This Tiger defense, that defensive line has just been able to create a mess along the line of scrimmage. And for the most part tonight, these Wildcat ball carriers, they're taking on contact early, and with defenders at their feet. It's just been hard running tonight for these Wildcat ball carriers.
So 3rd down and 8 now facing Cassville. Another big 3rd down play here deep in their own territory. Sink, straight drop, steps up in the pocket. He's got Reese again against Gastel, and this time the catch is made at the 50. He's at the 40, 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Cassville.
Great throw this time by Sink right down the Wildcat sideline. Reese running stride for stride with the defender until about midfield. Then he was able to create some space, caught the football right in stride, and the race was on for about 45 yards down the field. Just a great throw right there. Put it up high, let Reese run underneath it, and a big strike, big play there for this Wildcat offense.
3rd week in a row that Drake Reese has caught a touchdown pass.
Now he's got to kick the extra point.
Wildcat touchdown brought to you by Willis Insurance. For over 130 years, they've been there to help with your insurance needs. Located in Cassville on the square and in Shell Knob in the Bridgeway Plaza. And the kick is blocked as somebody got a hand on it and deflected away, so the extra point is no good. And with 6:22 left to go in the 3rd quarter, the score remains 34-13. So each team has now missed an extra point try. But a huge 85-yard touchdown pass from Hayden Sink to Drake Reese has given the Wildcats a little bit of life here midway through the third. Tonight's third quarter brought to you by J&M Pallet Company, where with over 15 years of experience, they specialize in new, used, and custom-built pallets. They're backing the Wildcats all the way. Their motto is "In God We Trust." Phone J&M Pallet Company at 847-6732. So Drake Reese now has to gather his wind once again and get ready to kick this one away. The Wildcat kickoff brought to you by Baywash Car Wash. Try out the IQ Soft Cloth Automatic. It features custom wash technology that gives you the perfect wash every time. With Baywash, a clean car is a happy car, and that makes you feel good. Well, they kept going at Mason Gastel. They had him beat twice, but they couldn't hook up with quarterback and receiver getting the ball to the right spot, but that time they did. The third time was the charm, and Drake Reese caught it with a full head of steam in stride, and it was off to the races for the touchdown.
And Sink dropped it in there just perfect, and Wildcats keep going to the well and eventually find water on a big 85-yard touchdown pass.
Ian Naguji back at his own 5, awaiting the kick of Reese. Another line drive kick, and Naguji's going to be able to return it from his own 3. He's out across the 20, cut back at the 25, and dives out to the 30. As we mentioned, only a freshman, but he's showing no fear there on those returns.
Fearless, just straight ahead, full speed. And another decent return by him. And once again, a nice job of going back and reaching up and catching the football, not allowing it to go into the end zone.
So the Tigers take over at their own 30, leading 34-13 now with 6:15 left to go in the third quarter. As you had pointed out at halftime, Cassville has to get stops. They can't be trading scores with Lamar.
Well, at this point, the defense needs to make something happen. They need to force turnovers. They need to find a way to get the football back in a hurry.
So we'll see if the big play momentum can swing over to the defensive side. Case Tucker, though, on first down, runs it right up the middle, out across the 35, and his knee goes down around the 37 or 38 as he is brought down after a 7-yard pickup, and it'll bring up second down, in 3.
Just straight ahead, right at the Wildcat defense.
Tucker now unofficially 81 yards on 13 carries on the night. He's the leading ball carrier for Lamar. He's got 3 touchdowns. Sets up a second down and short. And Lamar taking time off the clock as they're letting the play clock wind down along with the game clock. Tucker calls for the snap with 3 seconds on the play clock, and he's going to run it himself. Around the right end he goes, but he is stopped shy of the 40-yard line. After a gain of only 2, he needed 3, and it'll bring up third down and 1.
We've talked about it repeatedly. Lamar's conversion percentage on third down. They've got a third and real short right here.
Clock continuing to move. Inside 5 minutes left to play here in the third quarter. Lamar on top of Cassville, 34-13. Full house backfield, and this time Beshore, the quarterback, around the right end. He's got the first down across the 45. Tripped up out around the 47. And the chains will move, and the drive stays alive for the Tigers. They are now 5 of 7 on third down conversion tries.
They continue. Clock continues to run. 4 minutes and 40 seconds to go here in the third. And again, as you said, the Tigers not in any hurry to run plays. They're trying to shorten this game as much as possible.
It was a gain of 8 for Beshore, 1st and 10 at their own 47. Man comes in motion. It is Beshore, and this time right up the middle goes Case Tucker, trying to break the midfield line, but is hit hard and brought down at the 48.5, maybe the 49. It'll bring up second down and long.
Yeah, and a good play there. Zach Kanan, middle linebacker for the Wildcats, making a nice read, stepping up, bringing the ball carrier down just across that line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Tucker and Kanan ought to be pretty familiar with each other by the time this game is over. Kanan's been hitting him a lot on the defensive side, and then Tucker's been stepping up and taking Kanan on a lot when he's been lead blocking for Ferris. So they've been getting in each other's grill all night long on both sides of the football. 2nd down and 8. Tucker with a long snap count. And he gives on the end around to Wilkerson. It's been a while since he carried the ball. He's hit at the line of scrimmage, gets away from that tackler, and moves it across the 50 into Cassville territory.
Yeah, the Wildcats defended really well. Just not able to bring Wilkerson down at first contact. He's able to pick up about 3 extra yards after that contact.
Ends up being a gain of 4, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 4 at the Cassville 47. So another 3rd down play for Lamar. We'll see if Cassville can stop him on this one with 3 minutes left to play here in quarter number 3. Tucker once again letting the play clock wind down. Cassville showing blitz from the left side. A man jumping up in the slot. Now he breaks the plane. And that will give Lamar a 1st down because they needed 4. The penalty is 5. And the Tigers, again, turn a 3rd down into a 1st down, this time on a penalty.
I understand you're trying to make a play, trying to make a big play on 3rd down, but you got to know the situation, got to know the down and distance, and you got to just kind of got a feel on what they're trying to do to you right there, and Wildcats fall for it.
That'll move the ball to the Wildcat 42-yard line, 1st and 10 Tigers. Keeps the clock running as well. Inside 3 minutes now left to play here in quarter number 3. Lamar on top, 34-13. Cade Griffith sets up in the backfield behind Tucker. Once again, they're letting the play clock wind down. Tucker takes the snap with 2 seconds on the play clock, gives on the end around, and with a head of steam, the ball carrier, that time was Trace Wilhite, is upended at the 36 as he is able to pick up 6 yards, and it'll bring up 2nd down and 4.
The Tigers have had a lot of success tonight on 1st down, getting chunk plays, really opening that playbook up, and it's been a tough offense to figure out for this Wildcat defense, that's for sure.
2nd down and 4. Tucker this time all alone in the backfield, unbalanced to the left. Beshore comes around. They give on the end around as they handed it to Wilhite first. Then on the second handoff to Beshore, and he had nowhere to go. Good discipline by the Cassville defense over there on the far side as Beshore was bottled up. And it'll be no gain on the play, and it'll bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, nice job that time. Disciplined defense by the Wildcats, staying home on the backside, able to be in position to make a play. And again, looking at a 3rd down situation. The Wildcats have had the Tigers in 3rd downs all night long.
And it's another 3rd down and 4, so no penalties here. Down to 1:10 left to go in the 3rd quarter as the second half is quickly flying by here. Tucker gives it to Wilhite. He comes inside the 35, breaks a tackle, has the 1st down inside the 30, is finally brought down at the 25 by Jerome Ewing.
And once again, the play that we've seen the Tigers run all night long. I don't know exactly what you call it, but it ends up you've got your H-back or slot back or wing back, whatever you want to call it. He's coming back against the grain and taking that handoff and going away from the flow. And the Tigers have had a big chunk of the yardage they've accumulated tonight on that play.
So 1st and 10 at the Cassville 25. Inside 35 seconds now left to go here in the 3rd quarter. Tucker going to keep it himself. A big hole opens up inside, and he takes it right down the middle of the field. Inside the 20 down to the 16 as he is able to pick up 9 yards on 1st down.
And that will probably do it. 20 seconds to go here in the 3rd, and the Tigers heading to the sideline. They're going to take this on to the 4th quarter.
So as we head to the 4th, Lamar leads it 34-13. We'll step aside and be back with the final 12 minutes. You're listening to Big 8 Football here on the Talent Network. At Wildcat Stadium, Lamar leading Cassville 34-13. The Tigers with the football at the Cassville 16-yard line. Lamar jumped out to that 21-0 first quarter lead, and they've never looked back. It's been a 3-score night for most of the night, at least for Lamar. Cassville was able to get a touchdown midway through the first half, and then they scored on their second possession of the second half. But this current drive has already taken over 6.5 minutes off the clock by Lamar, and it's still going. It started back at their own 30, and they've moved it down to the Cassville 16. This will be the 11th play of the drive coming up. 2nd down and 1 for Lamar. They've converted all 3 of their 3rd down opportunities here in the second half. 2 on this drive alone, as they continue to eat away at the clock. Case Tucker going to keep it himself. Dives off right tackle inside the 15. Plows his way down to about the 13-yard line. Picks up another Tiger first down. It's a gain of 3. 1st and 10 Lamar at the Cassville 13-yard line. Tucker now with 97 yards unofficially on the night on 17 carries.
One of the differences we notice, and it's a little one, but one of the differences we notice with this Lamar football team and under a new regime is the fact that they're going back and huddling. Most of the time under Coach Bailey, we'd see the Tigers just on the ball, receiving signals in from the sideline, but they're huddling up traditionally.
Handoff goes up the middle this time as they were unbalanced to the right. But they try to catch Cassville leaning that direction, and they go back right up the gut. And that was Joel Beshore on the carry. He picks up only a yard to the 12, and it'll bring up 2nd down and 9. Yeah, they'll still check off the play because they've all got wristbands. But you're exactly right. They do go back into a huddle-type formation. Sometimes they'll get up to the line of scrimmage and redo things, but you don't see that, or you didn't see that as much in the past. Again, unbalanced right. They go back to the left. Gastel makes the catch down around the 5, trying to make a quick turn and run after hauling in the football and sneak into the end zone. But Cassville's defender, and again, that's Ewing, is able to stop him short of the goal line, but he takes it down to the 4, and it'll be 1st and goal Tigers.
It looks like it's going to be a little short of the first down stick.
Oh, it is. They're going to make it 3rd down and less than a yard. So that initial spot looked like it was going to be inside the first down. But after they get the chains set over there, they have it 3rd down and about 1.5 feet. The ball at the 4-yard line. Tigers back with the full house backfield. And Tucker gives it off up the middle and into the end zone. Little second effort there by the ball carrier for the Tigers. Breaks the plane of the goal and punches it in for the score. And that was Joel Beshore with his first touchdown of the night as he takes it in from about 3.5 yards out.
Well, the Tigers, once again, they're spreading the love. Several Tigers have found their way into the end zone tonight, as Case Tucker has 3 by himself, but I believe it's up to 4 total. Tigers have found pay dirt tonight.
14-play, 70-yard drive, and the touchdown run by Beshore caps it off, and now the extra point, again, is no good. So suddenly both teams having difficulty tacking on the PAT. Lamar's missed their last 2. Cassville unsuccessful their last point after. And with 9:59 left to go in the game, it's 40-13, the Tigers leading the Wildcats. And that drive, let's see, we've got a little over 8 minutes off the clock.
Those are killers. Those are killers when you cannot get the opposition off the field. It's demoralizing as a defense.
Nevada has extended their lead at home over Monette 20-7. Aurora leading Buffalo 36-14. Mount Vernon 20-7 over Rogersville. McDonald County on top of Frontenac, Kansas 32-13. Reed Spring 10-6 over Hollister. And Marshfield over East Newton 33-7. Those other scores in the Big 8 Conference here in week number 5. all Big 8 games with the exception of that McDonald County game. And, of course, they were supposed to play Seneca tonight, but Seneca, with some positive COVID-19 results, had to set out tonight. And, of course, yeah, you're exactly right. I forgot that one. Aurora Buffalo. Aurora was supposed to play Springfield Catholic, but the Irish with the coronavirus troubles and Buffalo playing there at Kelly Field. Austin Wilkerson to kick it away for the Tigers. And a high short kick returnable for Ferris. And it looks like Reese is going to step up and haul it in at the 20. He's out across the 30, plows his way across the 35. Good strong run by Reese as he takes it out to about the 32 or 3 yard line.
Well, at this point in the football game.
And I correct myself, that was the 37 yard line, not the 33. I was looking at the wrong sideline marker. So the 37-yard line is where Cassville will start this drive.
Well, at this point in a game like this, Sammy, you're really watching your kids and you're seeing who still has that fire and who's not giving up, who's playing hard. And the big eye in the sky, the camera won't lie. So this coaching staff's really going to be watching to see, who's still playing hard in a game that is lopsided like this.
Hayden Seek fakes the handoff to Zach Kanan and turns the corner and takes it across the 40 out to the 42 for a pickup of 5, and it'll bring up 2nd down and 5 for the Wildcats. Sink now unofficially 79, or excuse me, I got that wrong too. I was looking at the wrong column. It is 19 yards on 12 carries. Twin receivers to the right side. They give the ball to Ferris. Ferris looking for a block, and a lot of black and red over there on the left side. And Ferris could not find an opening to slice through. He picks up 1 yard to the 43, but that's going to be it, and it'll bring up 3rd and 4.
This Wildcat offensive line just had a lot of trouble tonight with the defensive line of the Tigers and the linebacking core stepping up and filling. It's been a tough night for these Wildcat ball carriers.
So 3rd and 4 Cassville. They have yet to convert a 3rd down opportunity. We'll see if they can get one here. Cooper and Reese go wide to the left. They pitch the ball that way. Here comes Kanan. Kanan gets to the corner, turns it up the sidelines, and takes it across the 50 into Lamar territory at the 49. And there it is, the first 3rd down conversion of the night as the Wildcats move the chains. The Wildcat first down brought to you by Superior Metal. They're first in custom ag buildings. You can find them on Facebook or YouTube. And then call for a free quote at 888-364-9527.
Brett Cooper, Jericho Ferris leading the way out there. Kanan finishing the run strong. A little toss sweep to the short side of the field, picking up that first down right in front of the Wildcat coaching staff.
It's a gain of 8. Cooper goes in motion, runs behind Sink. Sink rolling to his right. Here comes the pressure. Sink has to try to get away from it. Now there's black and red all over him once again, and he is dropped for a loss back at the 47-yard line. Again, the Lamar Tigers fly into the football, and it'll bring up 2nd down and 14.
Yeah, good coverage in the secondary. Sink just not having anywhere to go with the football. Trying to make a play, and the Tiger defense just flying to the ball.
Under 8 minutes now left to play here in the 4th quarter. Tonight's 4th quarter is brought to you by Remington's Place. Remington's Place is a proud sponsor of Wildcat football. They're open before, during, and after the game. Kanan trying to get to the edge once again. Takes it back across midfield into Tiger territory and is dropped at the 47-yard line after he is able to pick up nearly 6, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 8. Remington's Place is 209 Highway 76 south of Cassville. You can call 847-0368. Remington's Place bringing you tonight's 4th quarter. 3rd and long for the Wildcats. Sink, straight drop, launches one to Reese. Again, one-on-one with Gastel, trying to come back to the football. A flag comes out as Mason Gastel never turned around to see where the ball was. He just went helmet right into the face mask of Reese, and he is going to be called for pass interference, I believe.
That should be the call, Sammy. We'll give the Wildcats a first down here.
Wildcat first down brought to you by Superior Metal. You can find them online at superiormetalsalesinc.com. You can check them out, find out what kind of custom buildings they can build for you. Again, we had those weird spots. Those just continue to baffle me. The line of scrimmage was the 47, so it should be the 32, but they placed it at the 33. I never been able to figure that out.
Math is hard, Sammy.
I guess it is. The ball is pitched to Ferris. Penetration by the defense, and it's Tucker once again as he continues to do it on both sides of the football for the Tigers. Ferris tried to bounce out and go around him, but then the rest of the defense came in to help out, and it's a loss back to the 35.
And Ferris took a shot right in the face at the end of that run, and they might want to check with him a little bit. He's a little slow to get up, and just a scary hit to finish that play off.
6.5 left to go in the football game. Cassville trailing 40-13. Wildcats facing 2nd down and 12. Sink throws underneath to Reese this time. The catch is made at the 30, and Reese battles his way down to the 26-yard line as he is able to pick up 9 yards.
A good throw and catch there. Sink to Reese. Reese picking up a few yards after the catch.
And it'll bring up 3rd down and 3. And here comes the Cassville running game, and Ferris is again slow getting up in the backfield. Sink on the carry, and he pounds his way down to the 23-yard line.
I'm not sure.
They say his knee went down at the 24, and it's going to bring up 3rd and 1.
I'm not sure Sink was even supposed to carry the football right there. I think he was going to hand it off, and the defensive lineman was in the backfield, nearly took the handoff. Sink was able to pull it back and just go straight ahead.
So the Wildcats needing a yard to continue the drive, and the quarterback keeper this time by Sink. Good surge by the interior lineman of the Wildcats. And Sink is able to move it ahead to the 22 and pick up the 1st down. The Wildcat 1st down brought to you by Superior Metal. They're first in custom ag buildings. You can find them on Facebook or YouTube and then call for a free quote.
Player slow to get up off that pile. Clock under 5.5 minutes now. As the chains move.
Cooper goes wide to the right. Moeller comes out wide to the left. Kanan and Ferris split behind Sink. They throw to Moeller, and Moeller diving down to the 14-yard line, hangs onto the football, makes the catch.
Once again, nice catch and throw. Moeller having to go down to receive that football, but a nice gain there on 1st down.
Pick up a 7 yards. It'll bring up 2nd down and 3. Reese back into the ball game. He'll split out wide to the right. Cooper comes left. They reset the tight end Barbie around to the right end as well. Sink up under center, pitches the ball to Ferris. Kanan looking for a lead block. Too many white shirts over there, and Ferris has nowhere to go, as once again Lamar doing a great job getting a lot of helmets to the football, and Ferris could not avoid everyone. They do get positive yardage to the 14, but it's a pickup of only 1, and it'll bring up 3rd and 2.
Yeah, running that toss sweep to the wide side of the field. You had Reese lined out there. They had a corner on him, had a safety over the top, essentially double teaming Reese, and they run the toss sweep that way, so just too many people over there for Reese to lock up.
So 3rd and 2 for Cassville. They give the ball to Kanan. Kanan, somebody got into his legs, and that was Robert Lawrence, defensive lineman. Kanan is able to get to the 13, and it's going to bring up 4th down and inches.
Just same old story. These Wildcat ball carriers, most of the night, have had Lamar Tiger football players down around their legs as soon as they take handoffs. Just tough to get going.
So here we go, 4th and less than a yard to go. Sink this time is hit right as he gets the snap. As slicing through a gap was Ozzie Straw, but Sink with second efforts able to fight forward and pick up the 1st down, it appears. We're going to see where they spot the ball. They're looking to the sidelines, and now they signal 1st down Cassville. The Wildcat 1st down brought to you by Superior Metal Sales. They're first in commercial and farm buildings. Call for a free quote at 888-364-9527. The Problem with this drive is it's taken all the time off the clock. Sink now under pressure, throws to the Lamar sideline. Catch is made over there by Brett Cooper, his second catch of the night. But it's good for a pickup of only 3, and it'll bring up 2nd down and 7.
Yeah, Sink was getting hit just as he threw that football. Nice sliding catch over there on the far side of the field by Cooper.
2.5 left to play here in the fourth quarter. Tonight's fourth quarter brought to you by Remington's Place. 209 Highway 76 south of Cassville. They're open before, during, and after the game. Call Remington's Place, 847-0368. Sink this time throws on the slant, and it's over the head of the intended receiver, Drake Reese. He had gotten inside of Gastel, but the ball was a little too high for him, and it'll bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, they had it right there, Sammy. Nice route. They were not playing a safety over, so it was one-on-one coverage right there. Reese had got an inside position, and the ball just thrown too high right there.
So another 3rd down situation. Cassville 2 for 6 on 3rd down conversion tries here in the second half. Incomplete pass stops the clock with 2:28 left to go. Cassville's had the ball for 7 minutes, but they still haven't got it into the end zone. Now we've got whistles as Cassville has to use a timeout.
I think we were lined up correctly there. Offensive coordinator Clay Wilde calls the timeout. He's going to talk this over.
Timeout on the field is brought to you by Security Bank. They've got all the newest banking features with the same hometown service. Security Bank of Exeter, Wheaton, and Cassville, member FDIC. 2:28 left here in the fourth quarter, 40-13. Lamar with the advantage. Both teams came in 3-1, but it appears that Cassville's going to have their 3-game winning streak snapped. The Wildcats unbeaten in Big 8 West play, 1-0. Lamar was 1-1. But right now, Cassville on the short side of things here, and the score and the clock against the home team here late in this football game. It's back out on the road next week for Cassville as they head north up Highway 37, travel to Monette for the annual Berry County Brawl against the Cubs. Monette trailing Nevada on the road tonight up in Vernon County. The Tigers over the Cubs 20-7. So 3rd and 7 facing Cassville at the Lamar 8-yard line. Sink, 2-step drop, now comes out of the pocket under pressure, and he is hit at the 15, gets away from that pressure, now throws it into the end zone, a man open. It's Cooper, touchdown Cassville.
Wow.
2nd, 3rd, and 4th effort from Hayden Sink. He launches it to Cooper and finds him open in the end zone for the score.
That's a great play and just strength from your quarterback. He's just in no man's land right there. Somehow he's able to see Cooper in the end zone and able to flip the ball out to him with 2 or 3 Lamar Tigers hanging off of him. Just a great play.
The Wildcat touchdown brought to you by Willis Insurance. For auto, home, health, life, and commercial insurance, see the folks at Willis Insurance on the square in Cassville and in the Bridgeway Plaza in Shell Knob. Drake Reese to attempt the extra point, and he booms this one maybe all the way out into the street as he took a little frustrations out on that football. And the extra point brought to you by the barbecue station. Stop by the barbecue station at 900 Main, just north of the Cassville Square. Get the Marple Bowl. It's a legend. The barbecue station. You can also call them at 847-0470 for all your catering needs. 40-20 now with 2:20 left to go here in quarter number 4 after the 8-yard touchdown pass from Hayden Sink to Brett Cooper.
Hard to describe that play, Sammy, is total breakdown, and it's Sink just making something happen there. And just, again, we talk about his size, 6'3" or 4", 240 pounds, and he's got defenders hanging all over him. Somehow he's able to get his eyes up and see Cooper in the end zone. And with those defenders hanging on him, he's strong enough to get the ball out there. Cooper wide open and into the end zone for the score.
And so often when a play does break down like that, you got a guy scrambling around like that, defenders will kind of start to take their eye off of who they're supposed to be covering and start looking to see where the ball carrier's going, if they can make a play. And Cooper doing a nice job, not just standing around and watching. He found an open spot in the end zone and was able to haul it in for the score. Drake Reese with the Wildcat kickoff, brought to you by Baywash Car Wash. A clean car is a happy car, and that makes you feel good, and Reese puts this one into the end zone for a touchback. The Tigers will take over at their own 20. 2:20 left to play here in the fourth quarter. Lamar with the 40-20 advantage. Again, tonight's fourth quarter brought to you by Remington's Place at 209 Highway 76 south of Cassville. Call Remington's Place at 847-0368. Proud sponsor of Wildcat football. They're open before, during, and after the game.
And you've got some new jerseys along that offensive line of the Tigers.
Snap goes to Tucker. He's going to run it around the left end. He's out across the 25, lowers his shoulder pads, and pushes out to the 28-yard line. Nice pickup of 8 yards on first down. Tucker with that carry over 100 yards on the night, unofficially 105 yards on 18 carries. To bring up second down and 2.
He's been a force tonight, and one that Wildcat defense hasn't had an answer for. And most of his yardage have come between the tackles.
Under 2 minutes left to go in the ball game. Lamar just trying to run out the clock and improve to 4-1 and hand Cassville their second loss of the season. The Tigers will improve to 2-1 in the Big 8 West. Cassville will fall back to the 500 mark in the Big 8 West at 1-1. End around goes to Crockett. Here he comes across the 30. Jumps over a man at the 35. Has a first down and out across the 40. Finally spun down at the 45-yard line. Crockett's been deadly at that play all night long, and he picks up a big first down run for Lamar.
Really has. Big kid, strong kid, young. Saw another sophomore coming out of this Tiger backfield. Coach Beshore's got some young players to build around for sure for the future.
79 yards on 8 carries and a touchdown for Logan Crockett tonight. First and 10 Tigers at their own 45. 65 seconds remaining. Lamar will have to snap the ball a couple of more times and secure themselves a victory here on the road as Tucker takes a knee. Well, a lot of people anticipating a great Big 8 battle here tonight, but a couple of turnovers turned into points by Lamar turned this game on its ear early on in this football game tonight in the first quarter, and that kind of quick start for the Tigers has turned out to be the difference. Cassville's been playing catch-up all night long, and Lamar's going to come on the road and pick up a win here tonight.
Well, the Tigers never really gave up the momentum after the 2 turnovers. You know, the first drive of the game, they go down and score 2 quick turnovers, short yards, leads to 2 more early touchdowns. I mean, they had 21. They were 3 touchdowns in 8 minutes. So to start this football game, so the Tigers did what they had to do. They came out early and took control of the football game and never let it go.
One more knee from Tucker, and that will do it. Lamar picks up the win, 40-20 tonight over the Cassville Wildcats. Lamar again improving to 4-1, 2-1 in the Big 8 West. Cassville falls to 3-2, and they are now 1-1 in the Big 8 West Conference. 40-20, the Tigers over the Wildcats. We're going to step aside and be back with the postgame show. You're listening to Big 8 Football here on the Talon Network. Back at Cassville, Lamar defeats the Cassville Wildcats by a score of 40-20 here this evening. Lamar jumped out to an early 21-0 lead. They led 28-7 at halftime, and then they struck first in the second half. 7:27 left to go in the third. A 1-yard run from Logan Crockett extended Lamar's advantage to 34-7 over the Wildcats. Cassville would strike back on an 85-yard touchdown pass from Hayden Sink to Drake Reese to make it 34-13. But then Joel Beshore capped off a 14-play, 70-yard drive that took over 8 minutes off the clock on a 3-yard run with 10 minutes left to go in the ball game to make it 40-13 in favor of the Tigers. And then with 2:20 left to go, Cassville, a 17-play, 63-yard drive, the final 8 yards on a touchdown pass from Hayden Sink to Brett Cooper. And our final score, 40-20, the Tigers over the Wildcats here this evening. We'll look over the rest of the scores around the Big Eight a little later on here in the postgame. A difficult start for the home team, and the Lamar Tigers were able to take advantage of a couple of early turnovers and ride that early 21-0 lead to a Big Eight win here this evening. Lamar improving to 4-1, and as we said, 2-1 in the Big Eight West. Cassville falling to 3-2, and they are now 1-1 in Big Eight West play. We've got the individual numbers to take a look at here in the ballgame and the team stats. Unofficially, Lamar 43 carries for 263 yards, 3 of 5 through the air for 65 yards for a total of 328. Tigers picked up 16 first downs, did not turn it over. They were penalized 6 times for 40 yards, punted once for 37. Cassville 38 carries for 106 yards unofficially on the ground, 6 of 9 through the air for 122 for a total of 228. They picked up 12 first downs, 2 turnovers, both on fumbles. They were penalized 8 times for 63 yards and punted once for 32 yards in the ball game. We're going to take a quick break here and be back to visit with the head coach of the Wildcats, Coach Lance Parnell. You're listening to Big 8 Football here on the Talon Network. Back at Cassville, the Lamar Tigers win it tonight 40-20 over the Wildcats. It's now time to visit with the head coach of Cassville, Coach Lance Parnell. The post-game interview with Coach Parnell is brought to you by Arvis Bank. They're committed to Cassville, and they're here to support you and the surrounding community. Local decisions, local commitment. Arvis Bank, member FDIC. Well, Coach, much anticipated matchup here tonight in the Big 8 West, and the road team got the early advantage. They took a lot of momentum, scoring on their first drive of the night, and then a couple of turnovers added to their scores. They turned them both into touchdowns, and boy, it was one of those games where you was playing catch-up the rest of the night and never could really get the momentum back on your side of the field.
We dug an unbelievably deep hole for ourselves to start the ball game, and then you had a very, very good football team in Lamar across the field from us, and when you dig a hole that big, and it's tough to come back out of it against a good football team, and we did not do that tonight.
And when they jumped out to that early lead, not that they weren't physical to start with, because they were, but then they just kind of pinned their ears back and came at you even more so.
They did. They were definitely the most physical football team on the field tonight. They won the battle up front on the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. Limiting our ability to run the football, and then being able to run the football against us kind of at will at times. So football is a game of physicality, and usually who controls the line of scrimmage wins the game, and that's exactly what happened tonight.
From week to week, you never know how it's going to go, but Jeremy and I talked about this throughout the broadcast tonight. One of the big factors for them, they didn't pile up gobs of yardage, but they were able to convert third downs tonight. You just couldn't get them off the field on third down. They turned 7 out of their 10 attempts into first downs tonight.
Yeah, they did, and kind of continually hit us, with one little wing reverse play that, we didn't do a very good job of preparing our kids defensively this week for that. So, we'll go back to the drawing board this week. We'll go to work this weekend, and we're gonna get better.
Had a couple of big sparks of life, especially there in the mid portion of the game. Of course, the big touchdown pass to Drake Reese, and then a couple of nice returns on kicks by Jericho Ferris seemed to give you some momentum and some life every now and then.
It did, we go in at half and you're down 3 scores, but you got the ball to start. So, we're hoping we can get some momentum coming out of the second half. We weren't able to finish the drive there after we had a big, nice run on the first play of the second half. And then they go down and score, but then we get a little life on a nice kickoff return, long pass by Reese. It just, like I said, we dug that hole and we never could get out of the hole. We couldn't even get our nose out of the hole to have any traction or any see the light. So, like I said, it was a tough one tonight.
Didn't affect the outcome of the ball game, but you got to give the kids a lot of credit for fighting there at the end. Looked like Hayden Sink was going to be stopped 2 or 3 or 4 times on that scramble, and he was still able to find Brett Cooper open in the end zone. And you got to give Cooper credit because he didn't give up on the play. He found an open spot to be able to come in with that touchdown.
It did. I thought our backs continued to run hard. I thought our receivers continued to compete. Drake competed hard tonight. Out at receive some big catches. I thought Zach and Jericho ran really, really hard. We were under duress a lot. So, but we're going to find some positives. This biggest thing is, we learned we've got to be ready to play each and every Friday night coming out. And, obviously I didn't do a very good job getting them ready to play this week, so we're going to do a better job of that next week.
It had been a long time since you got to play here at home, a couple of weeks on the road, and now in week number 6, you're back out on the road again as you head up north for the Berry County Brawl.
Yeah, it'll be another battle. We'll be back on the road. Face our neighbors to the north. It's always a good ball game, always a challenge. Every time Cassville and Monette sees each other, and I'm sure we'll be again next Friday night.
Yeah, because that's always the crazy part when you throw those close proximity rivalry games in. You never know what's going to happen, but it's a lot of fun for the fans, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. As we take one on the chin here tonight, and we regroup. We got to turn right around Monday and know we got Monette on Monday, so we'll pull ourselves up and go right back to work to improve on all the mistakes that we made tonight and be ready to go next Friday for the Cubs.
Yeah, it's a season grind. You don't have any chance to feel sorry for yourself because you got to get ready for the next Friday night's opponent.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Nothing. I'm not one of those. I don't believe in feeling sorry for myself. What we did tonight was a direct reflection of preparation. So we're going to do a better job of preparing for next week. It's funny, you typically perform the way you prepare, and so I think that was pretty evident tonight.
And that's one thing you and your coaching staff do about getting the kids to refocus and get ready for the next week. So that starts with some film sessions over the weekend, and then they get back at it on Monday.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Monday will be a good teaching moment for us to improve upon the mistakes we made tonight and work to correct those to be a better football team a week from now.
Appreciate your time as always here in the post game. We'll look forward to catching up with you again next week as you get ready for the Cubs.
You bet. Thanks a lot, Sammy. Susie and the girls, I love you. I'll be home in a little bit.
Head coach Lance Parnell joining us here for the post game show. Show your school spirit. Stop by Arvis Bank in Cassville. Get your Wildcat debit card. Arvis Bank, member FDIC. Take a quick break and be back with the final individual stats and to hand out our post game awards and to wrap things up. Back at Cassville, looking at some of the individual numbers from tonight's football game. The Lamar Tigers led by Case Tucker as he finished with 105 yards on 18 carries and 3 touchdowns. Trace Wilhite had a touchdown on 4 carries and 17 yards. Austin Wilkerson carried for 3 times and 33 yards. Joel Beshore had 37 yards and a touchdown on 9 carries. And it was Logan Crockett, 79 yards on 8 carries and a touchdown as well. And Mason Gastel had 3 catches for 65 yards tonight. For the Cassville Wildcats, they were led. Jericho Ferris held 100 yards under his per-game average, 56 yards tonight, and no touchdowns on 15 carries. Hayden Sink had 21 yards and a touchdown on 16 carries, and Zach Kanan had 29 yards on 7 carries. Drake Reese, 2 catches for 94 yards and a touchdown. Brett Cooper had 3 catches for 21 yards and a touchdown, and Spencer Muller had 1 catch for 7 yards in the ball game here this evening. Our Wildcat player of the game is brought to you by Fast Trip at 104 South Main in Cassville. Fast Trip, whether it's for fuel, grocery items, fountain drinks, ice cream, snacks, or more, they've got it all at the very best prices. Fast Trip, 104 South Main, locally owned by Mike and Anita Carr. Our Wildcat player of the game tonight, the quarterback for the Wildcats, Hayden Sink. He rushes for a touchdown, and he throws for over 120 yards and 2 more scores as he figures into all 3 touchdowns tonight for the Wildcats.
Yeah, had a rough patch there in the first quarter. The guys tried to stay with it, and he had input in all 3 scores for the Wildcats tonight, and fought hard on that last play, and just pure strength and want to, not going down and delivering a touchdown pass.
So again, Hayden Sink, our Wildcat player of the game, brought to you by Fast Trip, great prices and friendly service, 104 South Main in Cassville, locally owned by Mike and Anita Carr. Our hard hit of the night is brought to you by B&K Auto Body. They offer claims assistance with all major insurances. They also do current paint and matching techniques to put your hard hit vehicle back on the road again. Call B&K Auto Body at 847-3990. We didn't have that hit tonight that really jumped out with the oohs and the ahs that definitely put a big stamp on it for the hard hit of the ball game. But we did have a couple of nice hits, one by Zach Kanan and one by Jericho Ferris. Each were big plays at the time during a drive for the Tigers, and they were both for losses as well. So we're going to kind of go with the co-hits of the game tonight, Kanan and Ferris in this ball game here this evening. And again, they're brought to you by B&K Auto Body. Nearly 20 years of experience fixing hard-hit vehicles like new. They use digital imaging, a downdraft paint booth, and free computerized estimates. B&K Auto Body, phone 847-3990. Looking at the other scores around the Big Eight, everything's gone final now with the exception of one. Nevada at home beats Monette 20-7. A wild one in Aurora. The Hound Dogs had a 36-14 lead before Buffalo erupted in the fourth quarter and nearly pulled off the comeback, but the Hound Dogs hang on and beat the Bison 36-35. Rogersville goes to Mount Vernon and knocks off the Mountaineers 29-23. It was McDonald County at home against Frontenac, Kansas 39-13. The Mustangs with the win. Marshfield at home defeats East Newton 41-7. And the only game that hasn't gone final tonight down in Hollister, Reed Spring holding on to a 24-18 lead over the Hollister Tigers, and that game very late in the fourth quarter. So that's the way we look. Week number 5 of the high school football season. We move into the second half now, and the Cubs will be hosting Cassville. Wildcats back out on the road next week as they head up north for the Berry County Brawl.
Well, the Cubs have not had the season that they would like to have had, and the Wildcats are going to be licking some wounds this weekend. Very physical game tonight, but as you spoke with Coach Parnell, it's one of those things where, hey, you got to shake it off and get better, correct the mistakes, and be ready to play football. You're halfway through this season. You've still got the whole thing out in front of you. Just because you lose tonight doesn't mean that you can't go make some noise. So refocus, get better next week, and be ready to play football because it's always a big game with the Cubs, and they'll be fired up, I'll promise.
That is for sure. Well, we will thank everyone here at Cassville for the hospitality. It's only been 2 weeks since we've been here, but it seems like forever after a couple of weeks on the road for Cassville. Appreciate Athletic Director Doug Martin and all of his staff for all the hospitality, and Superintendent Richard Asbill. It's a great time coming down here and broadcasting for Wildcat Stadium. We look forward to coming back a couple of more times here before the end of the season as the Wildcats, with the majority of their road games in the first half of the schedule, They have more home games here in the second half. But again, thanks to everyone at Cassville for all the hospitality. Appreciate all of our sponsors for helping support our broadcast, whether on the radio, on web TV, or online. Each and every one of our Wildcat sponsors are appreciated so very much for helping us get these games out on the airwaves and supporting Cassville High School athletics. And we look forward to being back with you next Friday night when we head up north to Monette for the Berry County Brawl between the Wildcats and the Cubs. Well, that's going to do it tonight here from Cassville. Once again, our final score, the Lamar Tigers defeat the Cassville Wildcats by a score of 40-20. Speaking for Jeremy and Todd, this is Sammy Clapper saying thanks so much for joining us and good night from Wildcat Stadium.